Okay,
Five?
okay, yeah,
Oh, no.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Hey, March Madness
What's
fans, sir?
What?
March
what's March
Madness. It
Madness?
started
I don't
today.
know what that is.
The basketball tournament.
Oh no, I don't.
I
I'm
have
not
no
gay. I don't
idea.
watch sports.
I don't watch
It's the,
sports
it's the,
either.
it's the college basketball tournament that happens every March where everyone makes the brackets. And then, like, if
Oh,
you get a perfect bracket, you get all the money.
isn't college sports like the lame one, like the amateur one?
I mean, they're not, well, they're technically not professional, but college athletes can get paid now. So I guess there's really no difference.
They used to
That
not
they
get
used to
paid?
not. Yeah, it used to be illegal to pay them, but then that
What?
got changed with, like, a few years ago. Yeah, so like,
Oh,
because they were already basically celebrities, they just didn't make any money. But like,
yeah.
I just
because like the good players would be like a year or two removed from being like a professional all-star. So it's like everyone knows that, like, okay, assuming this player doesn't have like a horrific injury, like they're gonna be a big shot in a couple of years. So like girls would throw themselves at them, and like sponsorship deals would be just like trying to set up stuff for like when they do become pros there, if like a deal made and that kind of stuff. But like now they're literally just already celebrities, and now they're just getting paid too. Like some of the college athletes make more money than some professionals. So it's like it's
Iron. You know what that
crazy.
popped caused to pop into my head? A
But
student athletes, you say? Why, that is rich, sir.
that's a South Park reference right there.
It is.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Also,
Do we need to review South Park?
I just watched that episode like last week.
later. Yeah, that's a funny one. Do you want to review the entirety of South Park? We'll never
All
finish.
10,000 episodes.
We will do the movie at some point.
There's a
We will
movie?
do that. Yeah, it's
There is a
actually
movie. We could
yeah,
actually do it.
it
Yeah.
won like awards and stuff, or almost did. It
What?
was runner up, I think, for best song. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Oh, that's cool.
Um,
Is
yeah,
that why
it's
they have
bigger,
South Park
longer, and uncut.
concerts?
Yep.
And a lot of their episodes have music, but yeah, their music's pretty good actually. Like the people who make South Park, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, they're pretty musically gifted. I think they've made a couple musicals actually.
Oh,
Speaking
that's
of good
cool.
music, you know what else has good music?
Death Note.
Death Note. Yes.
Yeah,
True. I love hearing
yeah.
the dum 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 dum.
I love me some Turt's music.
The little thinking
Oh,
music.
the interesting thing with the music is they really do use it to enhance the scenes a lot.
Oh,
True.
for sure. They add a lot of intensity. Also, something I forgot to ask last stream was Lulu.
What?
Or I mean I DM'd you this, but like you would have assumed that Light would have taken the deal, right? At the end of episode 3.
Yeah, I was surprised that we'll get to it, but I'm surprised he didn't.
I mean, we can get to it in like a minute. That's how the third episode starts off, right? Oh no, that's
No,
how the fourth
fourth.
episode
No,
starts.
I was gonna say no. That's the end of the third episode.
Yes. Sorry, I'm tired too.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Devin.
Yeah,
Welcome to the stream.
it's you sounded like an Alcohol Anonymous person when you said that. Like, hi, Devin.
Not this fucking guy.
I was gonna say, wow, you're accusing the wrong co-host of being an alcoholic.
Yeah, the underage one.
Yeah,
I was gonna say you're the one who's sober most of these.
Yeah,
Are you drinking
Rangy.
beer right now?
No one else is like a good reference is like in the what's it called, Wreck-It Ralph, and they're like all like the bad guys are like in the meeting room. They're like, just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy.
Oh yeah, that's not.
They're
I
like,
mean, it's a cheesy line, but it's not a
yeah,
bad
well,
line.
because I'm pretty sure they were trying to like invoke like AA
They
meetings
were
with that.
leaning into it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Just funny because it is a children's movie, but kids would totally not get that like reference.
Yeah.
Like it's a little funny thing for adults. I love innuendos. They're fun. It makes rewatching kids movies a lot of fun because like so much stuff goes over your head as a kid. And you're rewatching, you're like, oh, I see what they were doing here.
And
SpongeBob.
also, let me just post this in a few other
Ooh.
places.
Oh,
YouTuber. Hi
spread the
Granola. Welcome to
word.
the stream.
Hi, granola.
Hi Granola.
Um,
Granoloha.
Ni hao, Kai
No, that was
Lan.
bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
ni hao. Wait, no, Japanese, right? Konnichiwa. I feel like it's racist for American to say konnichiwa. Maybe that's just me though.
What if they're a Japanese American?
No, no, I was so first off,
Mm.
I was trying to mix it with aloha, not
Oh.
konnichiwa.
I know, I just wanted to say that.
But also, no, what do you mean? I'm an American, and appropriating other people's cultures is my culture.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Racism is our bit. No one else can do it.
Yeah. Suck it,
It's
Shane
not
Gillis.
no, it's not racism. It's mine now.
It's Ireland. It's my
Yeah.
island. Yeah, it's mine. That's another one we gotta do at some point. Is Braveheart.
I've
You
never
ever seen
seen that.
Braveheart?
Oh no, you're gonna have to hear my pot take on Braveheart.
Oh boy, but yeah, that's a good one.
I
Especially
think
since you've
it's
never
a
seen
4
it.
out of 10.
What? That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Well, to be fair, I think if you cut 20 minutes out of the movie, it would probably be a 6.
Lucas, how much money are you getting off these ads that are popping up on your stream?
Like $5. Not that
Really?
much. Yeah, not that much.
That's still more than I thought it would be.
I
I only
forgot
got
the
like
server
100
that they
views this
have.
stream.
Where did they want me to post the self-pro? Oh, there's a promo channel. Okay.
Are you talking out loud, or like did you want us to know that information?
No,
Oh,
he
no, no, I'm
gets
talking out loud.
Anyway, Death Note time. All right.
Wait, what about Hallmark?
I'm doing that one now.
Too late.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Is that why it's called that?
Yes, it's after the room.
Yeah, it is.
Bruh,
Yeah,
that's so
it's
stupid. I love it.
yeah. So,
I never knew that.
I realized
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be talking about a private server as
Oh,
well.
it's okay. It's not like anyone has access to it.
I mean, you are
basically the
one of the
servers.
people who run it, so that's a you decision. It's
Yeah.
technically your
Basically,
server.
the easy way to put it is the server basically started, and I wasn't even in the server when this happened, but it started because of the room watch party.
That's I've never seen the room.
I
Do you
haven't
think
either.
I've never seen it? Do you think it would get
Oh my
views
god!
if
All right, we got to add that to the list. Then
if
none of us have seen. That'd be a fun one.
maybe we? I'm debating. I feel like it'd be way too much work for probably barely any views, but like at the end when we're done with the show, maybe the three of us can like, or I can make it and then I can feature you two in the video, like a retrospective of Death Note or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would do.
I've seen
I would
That's
film a segment
YouTubers
for it.
do this.
That's basically
Well, what
what
they
we're
do is-
doing
I've already
now.
made one for
I was-
another one of my friends.
I was
So
gonna say,
I'll do it for you.
we'll talk shop after the stream. I think
Okay.
we should probably start
Um,
getting into it.
I was gonna say like, that's basically what we're doing now, but it'd be like more professional,
Yeah.
like in video
like
format and
video essay format. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
episode 3.
Oh yeah. So
It'll
Lucas,
be maximum gayness.
what do you think of episodes 3 and 4? Particularly 4, since you haven't seen it yet.
I think. Oh wait, who are you asking?
I was gonna say I talked about Lulu.
Yes, I asked Lulu a question and Ranky answered.
It's okay. We're chilling. Go ahead, Ranky.
Well, look, this is me 2 energy drinks in. I'm sorry.
What are you gonna say? I'll ask Lulu the question again after you. What?
I was gonna. Sorry. I was saying. So with these 2 episodes, one of the things I really love is you get to see like actual experimentation with the Death Note and how it works.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's episode 4 in particular is one of my favorite in the whole series. I really like episode 4. That first watch through, it had me like, what the fuck? That's awesome. That was just like, it blew my mind the first time that like he planned all that out. And I'm like, oh, that was genius. But anyway, Lulu, what did you think of episodes 3 and 4?
Um,
As in Lulu, not Rennie.
I was gonna say, let me just step away real quick.
Damn. I thought both were very interesting. I like how both, especially 4, shows off how smart Light actually is instead of him just saying he's smart. Because I feel like that's one thing where to be like, this character is smart, and then another thing to actually show them being like a genius. Um, and on top of that, I really like how, especially in 4 as well, he's like trying to figure out the maximum capabilities of the Death Note. Like he's like trying to figure out, okay, like what can I what's to what extent can I use the book to plan out stuff, and like what else can I do with it besides just kill people. So I thought that was very interesting. um
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head there, especially with the point about like they were showing his intelligence rather than telling you it. That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves. A lot of modern shows is they'll just explain to you that the character is so smart rather than showing them that they're
yeah,
intelligent. And a lot of times, what it's really frustrating is they'll talk about how intelligent this person is, but show them do nothing but make stupid decisions because
true.
there's a saying that a character is only as intelligent as the writer is, right? So like you
Yes.
can't make a character do anything smarter than you're capable of making. So a lot of these shows are written by morons, so all the characters therefore act like morons because that's all they're
Uh,
capable of.
hey,
Right.
So, a little harsh,
it's
but
the
it's
game
true.
of it's the Game of Thrones quote. He who has to pronounce himself king isn't one.
Yeah,
He
that
has
that
to
goes into it
he has
too.
to pronounce his character as smart isn't.
And speaking of Game of Thrones, that kind of shows that D&D weren't particularly bright themselves because as soon as they ran out of George R. R. Martin source material, all the characters became morons. So it's like, interesting. When you had the books to go off of, and all you had to do was just bring it to life, all these characters were really well written. But as soon as you pass the books, they all become morons. Like, kind of shows their talent as writers.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with adapting stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
usually when you adapt something, it's finished already.
Well,
But George R. R.
Yeah.
Martin has been writing the same damn book for 14 years now. So
well, the other thing is because I've read manga and then watched anime and then had like
Oh,
things
Iron.
like added or subtracted
Mhm.
from them a lot. I've like watched a lot of movies and stuff based off books. A
Hmm.
lot of the problem is oftentimes you do have to add or remove scenes in order to better fit them. Meaning, like the
Right.
Lord of the Rings Tom Bombadil thing is probably the best example. Like I feel people have complained about Tom Bombadil not being in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but he would also have absolutely like wrecked the pacing for no reason. Like just
Hmm.
didn't Ring of Powers put him
Interesting.
in?
that I think they did. I don't know. I haven't watched that.
I haven't either. What were you gonna say, Lou? I
Oh,
thought
I
you
was gonna
said
say I
Iron.
don't. I probably told you this before, but George R. Martin, or however the fuck you say his name.
Two R's. George
Oh,
R.
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 Martin.
Martin. He's got a cameo in Z Nation as a zombie, and it's so funny.
I've
That
seen
is
that.
funny.
Yes, yes.
That's what
He's
he's
in
doing instead
somebody's
of
like
writing the book.
zombie
Fat
museum.
bastard.
Yeah, he's in like somebody's zombie museum.
Yeah.
Dude, he all he does is side quests, and like good for him, I guess, because like he's just like living his life now. Like he was basically a nobody until he hit like his 60s, and now he's like top of the
Famous.
world, like second or probably the second most famous fantasy author on the planet that's still alive after J.K. Rowling, and like
Right.
he's worth like $100 million. Like uh people are like beloved, but or his characters are beloved like all over. However, his legacy is going to be fucking shit because he had a TV show that ended terribly. Seems like House of the Dragon's also on that path, and then he can't fucking finish the damn book. God.
Don't no,
Oh,
This
that's
is
a
don't
such a
really
worry.
funny
funny.
rant.
Don't worry, Iron. The book will never be
Yeah,
finished.
I know.
he
There's two more that have to come out. I'll be happy with one. You know what? If I ever see the seventh book, whatever. I made my peace with that. But
wait, so
give
they're
me the
all in the
sixth
same
one.
series? Or are they all their
Yeah,
own
he's
thing?
Well,
No,
he
so he
created a
has several
world.
other series in
Well,
that
yeah, well,
world,
yeah,
though.
he has other franchises, but his main like series, there's supposed to be 7 main books, but he also wrote a bunch of prequel shit. Um, through like encyclopedias and like in-universe textbooks and
Mhm.
a a collection of short stories, which is getting a TV show next year, which I'm gonna make us review because it's only gonna be 6 episodes. So,
Wait for what?
Is
the
that
hedge,
the Night of the
yeah,
Hedge Knight? Yeah, that was what it
yeah,
was
the Night
called.
of Seven Kingdoms, same story.
Oh, okay.
So basically, this is a prequel to Game of Thrones, but it's after House of Dragons, so it's an interquel, right? That's the word for it.
Yeah, because isn't one of the characters the guy from the Maester from the Night's Watch?
No, but it's his either I think it's his sibling or yeah, I think it's his older sibling. I don't know. It's he's they're closely related. They're both like Targaryens within close lineage. But I used to be better with my lore knowledge. I've kind of fallen off a bit in recent months. I have to get back on that. Anyway, as much as I like talking about the Song of Ice and Fire universe, we were talking about the Death Note universe. This is a
Yeah.
Death Note stream.
But am I just gonna have to name this one Tangent Note? I think I'm going to have to name it Tangent Note.
Well, see, this is why I only wanted to do 2 episodes tonight because I knew it was already gonna go on for 3 hours, and I don't have time to do more than that.
Bruh.
All right. But
Iron's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
guys,
I
let's do
think we should
4
just get into this.
episodes. Just kidding.
I'm sorry. I always bite off more than I can chew. I like to be optimistic, but then
And for
reality hits
some
me in
reason, we
the
let you be in charge of the schedule.
Yeah. Who get
So who's the real idiot here?
who put the monkey in charge of scheduling?
Yeah, you put the monkey in the middle.
Lulu, you
Yeah,
did.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you're right.
you're the host.
Yeah, I forgot.
Also,
Episode 3.
you guys want me to take point, or does someone else want to take point? I'm fine with
Uh,
it.
are you fine taking point?
I can take point. And just like I said, feel free to interrupt me at any point with any comment.
Yep.
Um, all right, so episode 3 starts off with them following on leads, most of which are dead ends. Like it's like people prank calling, people pretending to be Kira, right? It's like it's but
Yeah.
most of it's just noise, which is
It's
understandable. Like that's what would happen in a case scenario like this. Like people
Yeah.
like Rangi would be trolls, get on their little
no,
forums
no,
and
not
call them
current me
Oh, I
trouble.
have a
being
Dexter
when this
analogy.
came out.
I have a
Definitely.
Dexter analogy.
All right, here's the Dexter analogy for the episode.
When they were trying to find the ice truck killer in season 1, people were pretending to be the ice truck killer. Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
actually, in season 2, someone pretended to be the Bay Harbor Butcher too, as well. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
There you go.
This is a common trope with like publicly
I'm
known
Spartacus.
criminals in stories.
Yeah.
Is yeah, the public will is like having people in the public who just want attention or
Yep.
just want to fuck around or just don't like the government.
Ooh, how often do you put ads on this video? This is like the third one.
I don't
No,
know.
no.
It's
You see, he
set
has
to
a
whatever,
button.
dude. It's set to whatever. I don't know.
He,
It's
he
Like,
has a he has a button. He has a button to give you specifically an ad.
yeah.
I've gotten an ad every 10 minutes. Oh my
uh,
god.
that's so
Imagine
funny.
not just using ad block.
The Bay Harbor Kira. Yeah, you're right, Ganola.
They
I'm,
are
I'm making
here.
I'm making Lulu a fortune by watching all these ads.
Yeah, 20 cents.
Uh,
Hey,
Mr.
it
Krabs,
adds up eventually.
love that money. You would sell SpongeBob Soul for 20 cents.
All right, anyways, episode 3.
68% of the murders happen on weekdays between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. So L suspects the killer is a student based on this information, which he is correct about. He believes the killer has a very childish idea of what is right and wrong, and most likely believes that they are playing God. He's also right about that. Matsuwa, who is one of the prominent police officers, notes that violent crimes have decreased throughout the world, but particularly so in Japan, which is where Kira's targeting because he lives there. Elle would also like to know if the criminals murdered had publicly available pictures, which it turns out they do, which is crucial information. Detective Yagami and Matsuo have a convo about what Matsuo said, and Matsuo apologized for his outburst, but Detective Yagami said he did nothing wrong by saying what they were all thinking. He said, however, I might have had a problem if you said he was right in doing it. And then they kind of laugh at that, where Matsuo's a bit more awkward about it than Detective Yagami is. Then we
I
get the
also think
reveal.
this is an important scene too, because it establishes kind of the characterization of Light's dad.
And Matsuo, too.
Yeah, and Matsuo. I just didn't want to highlight him yet.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's not a spoiler to say that he will be one of the more prominent police officers going forward in the show.
Yeah, that
It
is
seemed
true.
obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. He is the most important police officer on the case after Detective Yagami.
Well,
There'll be
yeah. Outside so it's like L, Detective Yagami, and then it's Matsuda.
that's the order
Those
of
are like the
importance.
three major ones.
Yeah, because there'll be other cops on the team who like don't have nothing roles, but they're all kind of interchangeable. Like I don't remember any of the other people's names. They're not particularly memorable. At least not after like rewatching in a while, right? Whereas like Matsuo, I clearly remember his role in the story because he's pretty prominent.
Right.
Um, the Light's dad is one of the detectives investigating his alter ego of Kira, which is one of the first plot twists if you weren't paying attention. But you already knew that, Lulu, because of the movie, right?
What?
Um, that Light's dad was one of the detectives investigating him.
Oh yeah, it's revealed like immediately in the movie, and so I was like, oh, that's probably in the anime, and
Yeah.
it is.
So, yep. Light can keep track of their investigation from the inside by hacking into his dad's computer and copying confidential data without leaving a trace. So Light's a bit of a tech whiz, which makes sense because he's the smartest kid in his school.
Well, they're also on the same network, so really,
Yeah.
a lot of what
It's
he has
probably
to
not
do
that
is just
hard.
yeah.
I
You
do
can
it.
hack into a computer on the same network if you know how to. The only thing he has to do is like be able to guess his dad's password.
I would not be able to do that. I'm pretty tech illiterate.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
know. Anyways.
I was gonna say there's no protest here. It's just yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my few weaknesses. Um, Light has figured out they suspect a student. He's going to manually change when the heart attack occurs. This is for a couple of reasons, which we can get into shortly. Ira starts killing every person, or sorry, not every person. He starts killing one person every hour
Jesus,
on the
every
hour.
person.
Every
Yeah, no,
the
yeah.
DMV, the
So yeah,
IRS.
the way they explain it in the sub, because I didn't have time to watch the dub and the sub, so I just watched the sub this time. But I've seen the
Okay.
dub before, so I
Right.
and I believe the dub's pretty accurate with a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's 23 people every day, and it's one on the hour
On the
every
hour,
hour.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's basically 23 because where you decide to cut the day off, right? He's killing one person. So every 24 hours, 24 people dies. But like,
Yeah.
you have to count 23 like on the day because the midnight's the next day. You know what I mean? So it's always kind of like
Yeah.
that 24th hour kicks off the next day, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, but
Not like he's just randomly taking an hour off. Just wanted to clarify that.
it's interesting because he also does this for like 2 weeks straight, and they say that in the dialogue, and that's when L is basically that's when L like realizes okay, so Kira clearly has to have access to like police records because he did this as soon as I started like talking about
Yeah,
him being a student. And
But
What's interesting.
Kira wanted him to
What's
get that information though. Like he wanted
Yeah,
him to
yes, he does.
include that.
He does.
Yeah.
This is a challenge. This is something that makes Light's job harder, but it's entirely ego.
Yeah.
No, it's also strategy. He knows there's some outcomes that are desirable for him that will likely emerge because of this, and he's right. The police start suspecting L starts suspecting the police, and then the police get resentful of L. Like Light called that
Yeah,
would happen, and it did. So it's like it's not just ego. There is a strategy at play here, and
yeah. He
in
highlights that
his
much. Yeah,
defense, it does play out the way he wants. However, the unforeseen consequence is now he's getting tailed by an FBI agent, which he has to figure that out. Which we'll see how that plays out, or at least some of that plays
yeah.
out in episode 4. So the
And
investigation team. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, and I believe that's one of those things you said that it's like, uh, Ryu kind of playing favorites, so to speak, stacking the deck so the game doesn't end too soon.
Yeah, because Light would have probably taken much longer to figure out that the FBI agent was trailing him, and that would have went one of two ways. Either the FBI agent would have figured out that he was suspicious, and that would have ended the game early, or as we see in episode 4, he was about done tailing Light anyway. That was his last day actually on the job, which is a little bit of a contrivance, but it's not the biggest one in the world. I mean that also the story doesn't change whether that was his last day or not. He just add that as like a fun little bit of irony. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess it's not really contrivance because the outcome's the same either way. But anyway, he would have stopped trailing him. Light would have never realized he was being trailed. So the story would have played out in a much different way. Whether that's more beneficial towards Light or not, that's just too big of a rabbit hole to go down. We're too early in the story to really play out that timeline because there's
Right.
just so much differently that could have went down different. Because like, know what I mean? Like that, like Rang, like his interaction with Ray Pembar completely changes the story. So like, if that interaction never happens, who knows where the story would have went?
Yeah, that is a true thing.
Because like,
Like,
if Ryuk didn't make that comment, the most likely outcome is Ray Pembar just stops surveilling him, and then like now what? That's I don't know.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's a complete. I mean, it would have something would have to have given eventually. Light and L are both too smart for something of not to have no confrontation to have occurred. But like it would
Right.
have the outcome would have been completely different, and there's just a different show at that point. So it's just all speculative.
well, and I also do kind of believe why Ryuk tips him off. Like
Makes it more
Ryuk does
interesting.
probably just feel like I agree with you. It's probably as much. I don't want to I don't want to be like followed around and whatever. But I also
Mhm.
think it is a well. I don't want to risk the game ending too soon because then
It's
I
a
have to
fun
go back.
challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, not only does it make the game not end sooner, it ramps the game up because it makes things more interesting. Because now he knows Light's going to react to this guy, and that reaction will cause more reaction. So not only
Yep.
is he not ending the game, he's kind of lighting a fire under Light's ass to get a reaction out of him. And obviously, it goes better than he could have predicted. Like he was very impressed with his performance in episode 4. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so the investigation team concludes that he's probably not a student or is playing hooky, which good thing they're not in charge because they would never figure this shit out. So L points out that they are missing the bigger picture because again, this is like kind of beyond them. They're thinking about all this too small. He tells them that Kira is sending a message that not only can he kill from anywhere, but he can also determine the time of their death. L also notes that Kira must have access to police data, which Rangi went over because he switched up the pacing of the killings immediately after they concluded it was probable that he was a student. So we already went over that. L sees this as a direct challenge. Light's basically calling him out. It's like a WWE kind of thing. He's like, "I want you, L." Like
Oh
WrestleMania
yeah.
Saturday night,
They got
7
beef.
Well,
o'clock. Be
I
there.
was gonna say it's interesting too because this is a gambit from Light. Like he is revealing a lot more. If Light didn't do this, the story is very different because at that point, this is him kind of showing part of his hand because at that point, L has no reason to check the cops. At this point, L's narrowed it down to a student in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most populous cities in the world.
It is the most populous. Number 2 is not
Is
even
it?
close. Yeah. Tokyo is 40 million plus people.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I 100% know it's the most populous. I'm like 95% sure it's got 40 million plus people.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I'm
Lulu, that's a 4th ad. What the hell?
Yeah,
You
it's
know what's funny? I'm getting
Tokyo
ads. I'm
followed
getting
by
ads too.
Guangzhou, China.
I'm
It is
I'm
number 1.
logged on to to the Lulu account on my phone, watching the stream, and it's giving me ads. Infinite
You
money
make money
glitch.
by watching your own. Can you make money by watching your own ads?
I have no idea. I don't think so. I don't
It'd
know.
be pretty funny if you
Yeah.
could.
Oh no, it's Tokyo, then Delhi, then Shanghai for the
And
actual city.
is Tokyo above 40 million?
37,468,000
Oh, so close.
according
I
to
thought.
2018 population estimate.
Then it probably is if that's from 2018 because there's no way it didn't increase by like 4 million in like 7
Yeah, but
years.
so Delhi is the next most populous, and that's 28,514,000.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't even close between the next one down.
Yeah,
Because
that's 10 million
Tokyo
difference almost.
Tokyo is as tall as New York and as long as London. So that's like pretty crazy combo. Uh no, it's still about 37 million. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was a few million off, but the point still stands. It's a ridiculously large number.
Right.
All right. So Light concludes that if L is as smart as they say he is, he would have figured that part out by now. So Light's giving L the benefit of the doubt because none of this works if L's really not all that. But he's already earned Light's what's the word? I guess belief that he is as smart as he is because if he made him look like an idiot in episode 2. So
Yeah.
that kind of sold the image for Light. He's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I accept the challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is definitely throwing down the gauntlet, and he's also doing the manipulation of L and the police because he is
Mhm.
because that is probably a good choice for Light. It's yeah, I'll just let the police investigate him and take all the risks.
Mhm. So Ryuk is confused why Light is tipping off L. So that's why. So L explains to Ryuk, but really to the audience why he's doing this. Or Light explains to Ryuk. I say L. I think I said L.
Yes.
Light explains to Ryuk, but really the audience why he's doing this. Ryuk is actually that's one of the parts of his character that I think gets overlooked a lot. It's like the perfect mechanism to explain stuff to the audience because Ryuk will know stuff that Light knows, and Light will know stuff that Ryuk doesn't know. So since they both have information that the other doesn't, it's very natural expedition between the two because a lot of times as a writer's biggest challenge is to organically convey exposition to the audience and the Ryuk Light pairing is perfect for organically doing it every time since they're so foreign and it just makes sense that they would explain these things to each other
They
based off their personalities and experiences so it just works really well for getting the audience
And
in there with these two characters.
this is
yeah.
oftentimes a problem with anime because a lot of anime has the problem of the guy who is like the arena side like explanation what
Mhm.
factory essentially, the guy who either a character will explain their own abilities so that the audience
Mhm.
knows how their ability works, or
Mhm.
another character on the side will explain their ability and like how their
Yeah,
ability works,
a
and
lot
it's
of times
always
it's
like,
pretty clunky.
yeah, a lot of times it is.
Whereas this show, it never feels clunky, which is really nice, or at least not in the beginning anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, so Light explains that he's gonna pin L and the police against each other, which we went over in this stream and last stream. So now we are halfway through the episode, but the first half of episode 3 was pretty light. Get
Ah,
it?
funny.
Yeah, but because the second half's more dense, and episode 4 especially is more dense. Like episode 3 of the first 4 episodes was probably the least dense, I would say, and like stuff. There's a couple big reveals in 3, but I think for the most part, a lot of it's just kind of banter between Light and
Um,
Ryuk.
Nothing really of that importance happens until the end. I feel like there is the one
Yeah,
thing
I
where
agree.
like it's mostly just Light being like it. Most of the episode is Light giving L like information, and then the end is like when is like there's like a big reveal. So
Yeah, there's a few big reveals at the end. But
Granola,
yeah,
Granola in the chat said, "Say that again." Talking about when you made the light pun.
uh, I like me puns. I'm a punky monkey.
Fucking dad jokes over here.
Oh yeah, you know it. So we are halfway through episode 3.
Yeah.
So Death Note title card number 5. This note shall become the property of the human world once it touches the ground, arrives in the human world. Um, and then Death Note title card number 6. The owner of the Death Note can recognize the image and voice of the original owner, i.e., the God of Death. Which it's funny that they put it in this episode and not in episode 4. I think that was
Yeah.
intentional because I think if they put it in episode 4, that would have kind of clued you into what was going to happen. But since they put it in episode
True.
3, they remind you of it like shortly enough to like kind of have that in the back of your head so you're not as confused in episode 4, but not right before it, so like you know what's coming. Because I always hate that
Yeah,
in,
that's
like
kind of
reviews where
smart.
like they bring up something from like 2 seasons ago, and you're like, oh, so that character's coming back in this episode. It always ruins the surprise. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
I skip previews. I hate them because it's just like, oh, they're gonna tell you exactly what to expect in this episode. Some people like that, believe it or not. Like my mom really likes knowing that like this person's gonna be in this episode or
Uh,
whatever. But
the
like, I hate that feeling.
the other annoying thing with that is like when they introduce a mechanic just to have it be like used in that episode.
And then never again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Which
Does
I
anime
won't
do
say
that a lot?
how, but this mechanic does come back. What do you
Okay.
say?
Does anime do that a lot?
Yes. Depends on the anime. Depends on the
Definitely.
anime.
Well, all storytelling does that a lot, so it's
Not
not an
Yeah.
anime
really.
specific thing. No,
I
I
mean,
have
there's
definitely seen shows where they introduce a mechanic or a way a device works or something like that, or a device, and
yeah, but I
then
would I
like,
would I wouldn't say that all media does it. It's common, sure, but I wouldn't say like it's like there's not notable examples where that doesn't happen.
Right.
Like I would
just
say like
I'm
I
just
would say
saying it's not an
Mistborn,
anime
like that
specific thing.
trilogy. I can't think of any examples where he introduces something just for a one-off, right? Like pretty much everything has like multiple
Hmm.
purposes in Mistborn.
Maybe the 13th metal, but that's kind of built up too as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if it's like a over, it's not like a short. If it, I'm not talking about like one long term payoff. I'm talking about like a short term payoff. Because like if you have one long term payoff, you kind of have multiple mini payoffs up to that big payoff. So it's like I feel like that still counts. Anyway,
Right.
back to Death Note. So 3 cops, which I would be one of them, resign because they conclude that Kira can kill you if he has a name and face, so they understandably don't want to continue investigating Kira for
Yeah.
fear of likely retaliation. And then they point out that not everyone has the luxury of being L, where like Kira can't get them. But, like I
Yep.
would be one of those cops, like fuck this, I'm out. I
Really.
ain't trying to do this.
Yeah, I'm
Look,
surprised more of the cops weren't like really paranoid.
Well, no,
I think a
we
lot
do
of
get
them
the
are.
information that a lot of them have been like the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
what's the expression? It's like for every like one crime that gets reported, like 10 don't.
Yeah.
For every one person who like files a complaint, 10 don't. You know.
Yeah, because people are afraid of retaliation. So uh the police, right? Like a lot of them are thinking it, but three of them put it out there that they were going to quit.
And
And
these guys are very serious. They're like either assign us to a different case or we're just quitting the force.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's wild.
I mean, and I would do it. I mean, like it's like
The
Yeah, no,
safety of
that
your
would
own
I'd
my
be
life.
life.
with them. I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's like I'd be like I respect what you guys are doing here, but like I can't. It's like I'm sorry, I
I don't
value
want to
living too
die.
much. Yeah. It's like police will like take on risk with their job, right? It's part of the job, but like this is like
Yeah.
more than they signed up for. Like this was not what they signed up on the force to do. This is like
Right.
crazy like out of left field shit that they never could have fathomed they would have to deal with. So like
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely understandable. Like I would rather be a soldier in a war than have to like do what they're
yeah.
doing.
And there's a difference between I could get stabbed or shot by a criminal and some supernatural monster
You
is
could just
like
smite me
murdering
at any
people with heart
second.
attack.
Yeah, a god could smite me.
Yeah. So Light was right about the police beginning to resent L. Like you see it with those cops
Yep.
quitting and like making jabs at L. Light is using the FBI to oh shit. I wrote Light at L. I do this a lot. I
The
get what he's
problem
doing,
with
but
two L
it's so
names.
annoying. Yes. L
Because
is
I've
using
done it too.
yeah. Well, you know what's funny? Not to bring up George R. R. Martin again, but he was told by a writer who was more famous at the time. Obviously, he's more famous now, but like a piece of writing advice she gave him was never have two of your characters' names begin with the same letter. So, but George R. R. Martin's like, that's good advice, but like, what if I want to have more than 26 characters? Because like, obviously, he has like hundreds of characters, so it's like you know what? I'm gonna make them all sound even more similar because that's like historically like family names. I have a lot of people sound like other people because they were named after people and stuff. So he's like,
Yeah.
not only is he did he not take her advice, he doubled down on it, which makes his book series very confusing to read because everyone's fucking named the same thing. But yeah, so L is using the FBI to investigate the Japanese police officers, proving right once again. Um, you guys want to go into that again, or we already went over it twice? I feel like we can move on.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
You got
Yeah,
any
no, I think
additional
we've detailed
insights?
the plan pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, because we did it last stream too. Um, I always wondered why he used the FBI instead of CIA. Why do you think that is?
Uh, well, because the CIA isn't a law enforcement agency; they are an intelligence agency.
Well, so
What?
is the FBI.
Yeah.
The
Like,
FBI is
FBI.
both. The CIA isn't.
isn't this
Mm.
isn't the CIA like international and then FBI is like stuff within the country?
Yes,
Uh,
that's the,
uh,
the the
So
usual distinction because
yeah.
FBI is Federal Bureau of Investigation, so it's like an
Yeah.
internal
yeah.
investigation. Uh, what are they called? Administration, I guess.
Yeah.
Agency. That's
The CIA is busy starting a random war in a country you
yeah.
haven't heard of.
I
Yeah,
mean,
true.
most of their day-to-day activities is planning coups in third world countries.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
it was also especially around this time, trying to assassinate Castro.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
or
That's
American
funny.
presidents. Shout out to the JFK files.
Was that actual? Is that actual thing that's come out, or is that still just?
No, but I mean, it's it's one of 5 likely options because everyone knows the guy wasn't working by himself. So either the KGB hired him, the
It
Cubans
was
hired
me.
him, the Mafia hired him, the CIA hired him, or Lyndon B. Johnson hired him. It was
No,
one of
I
those 5
hired him.
parties. Oh, it was Ranky. Okay, mystery solved.
I knew you assassinated JFK.
I thought it would be funny. Nobody else got the joke.
He did it for the lulz. No, you just had to wait. Oh, there's my South Park reference. You have to wait like 23 and a half years for something to be funny. Pretty sure it's the arbitrary amount of time they came up with. 'Cause
Yeah.
they eventually made was it 9/11? No, it was something
I,
else.
I was
They
gonna
oh, it was
say, so
AIDS.
that
They
means we
made an
can make
AIDS joke.
9/11 jokes now.
Yeah, we can now. I'm pretty sure they actually did follow up with the idea for 9/11 jokes, but yeah, it was about AIDS. It was like 23 and a half years since like the AIDS crisis, so they could make AIDS funny, which was funny that they used Jared from Subway to do that, but that was like right before his controversy. So it's like they were making fun of him for something completely irrelevant, but then it like turned out to be relevant to him because he was a pedo. So they're like, "Oh fuck." Like that was some bad foreshadowing right there.
What are we
'Cause
what
he
are we
was
talking about?
uh Jared from
You see,
Subway.
I know what he's. So, yeah, he's talking
I'm
about. So,
so
Jared from
lost.
Subway was like a. So he
A
was a
commercial back in the
spokesperson
day. You
from.
might have been too
Yeah, he was
young,
a
Lulu.
spokesperson for. Yeah, I was gonna say I have to explain for the youngsters. So
Yeah.
he was a spokesperson for Subway, where he got famous because he lost a lot of weight
Okay.
eating a specific order from Subway every day.
Huh.
Which he didn't
Uh,
reveal to people. Like he just said Subway in general. He didn't say it was a specific healthiest option on the menu.
Yeah, but Subway like had Pitt started like paying him as a spokesperson after this because it's like it's good promotion
Yeah.
Hmm.
and
Became the face of the
and
company, basically.
yeah, he basically became the face of the company, and then it turns out he had certain proclivities.
He was a pedo,
What does this have to
which is
do with JFK and 9/11?
well. Anyway, no, because South Park made a joke.
Welcome to
Oh,
internet
it,
conspiracy theories.
oh, it connects to South Park.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, South
okay.
Park made an episode that AIDS
Uh,
was now funny since it was 23 and a half years since the AIDS epidemic back in the 80s.
oh,
However,
okay.
it was really like unfortunate that they chose him to be kind of the butt of the joke because basically the whole thing is that he has aides, right? Like assistants. He kept calling them aides that like helped him lose the weights. So he kept going around saying he wanted to give children aids, but the fact that he turned out to be a pedo, that joke kind of takes on a different meaning now.
Yeah, bro was serious.
Yeah.
No, I think it makes the joke funnier, to be
It
honest.
does.
It
It
does.
really does make it funnier, but like you have to imagine like Trey Parker and Matt Stone are like, you gotta be fucking shitting me. There's no way that we called that
This is what we in the D&D crowd call a natural
a happy
20.
little accident.
No, natural 20.
Oh, I was going the Bob Ross route of a happy little accident.
Yeah,
I guess
it's
not
So,
like
for those
it's.
kids.
or,
But yeah. Anyway, back to Death
back
Note.
to Death Note.
Yeah. um, L notes that there are 141 people in the Japanese police force that have access to the confidential information on Kira. L believes that someone on that list or someone in their immediate proximity that is close to them is Kira. So he has a short list of probable suspects, which
Yep.
one of the people related to one of the people on that list is Kira. So he was right about that again.
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
a lot of people really like L is that he like examines evidence and then uses it to make reasonable assumptions. Like he doesn't just jump to conclusions like some other characters might.
Hmm.
Him.
Okay.
Right.
Like Ella the live action.
Oh, is that what he does in live action?
Oh,
He
I guess.
does. He definitely does.
Oh,
He does that in Ring
yeah.
Fit.
I feel like this is gonna be a spicy review when we get to this because there seems to be some tension between you two on this movie.
No,
Oh, well, I think Lulu's gonna come around to agree with me.
I
You're
think
gonna bully him into submission.
the movie has a lot of flaws, but I just think it's not that deep. Like I think there's still things to like about it. That's all.
Uh, sure, probably. I haven't seen it in a long time, so maybe I misremember. Maybe my negative perception has tainted my view of it. We'll see.
Or maybe it'll get even worse.
That is also
We
a
shall see.
possibility. I think that's likely.
Yeah,
And there's no tension. Lulu's just wrong.
I guess.
Burn.
Yeah, my opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were wrong on the internet. Therefore, you have to be arrested.
Oh no.
Whoa, this isn't Britain.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
freedom of
whoa.
speech, bro. Freedom of speech.
How dare you be honest on the internet?
All right.
So Ryuk informs Light that he has no horse in this race and is merely an observer until the Death Note is destroyed or Light dies, whichever comes first. Ryuk informs Light that he's not his ally, but he's going to tell him something just this once because it's creeping him out. Which, knowing Ryuk's personality, is probably true, but the true reason he is likely doing this is because we went over this. He wants to make things more interesting, and he doesn't want the game to end early. So he gets a wicked grin, and then he relays the information to the Light. So we kind of touched upon this throughout this episode and last episode. Is there anything you guys would like to add before moving on?
Yeah, it's interesting because you do have to wonder how. Because Light was already like worried about people seeing him talking to
You
Ryu.
said L, I think.
I said, oh well, okay. Light was already concerned with like talking to Ryuk in public, and then on top of that, we then get.
Well, also, the thing is that every time he's told Ryuk to shut the fuck up is when he's been around people, but this time he was just alone, like in the middle of the street. So
Yeah, I wasn't flagging this as a problem because
okay.
This is a moment he can do that. But what I mean is just in general, he's already like realized that being like followed or like having attention on him is a possibility. I think is what I mean, and then that's why I think he realizes immediately Ryuk isn't just fucking with him. Then again, has Ryuk ever like lied to him?
He hasn't lied to him, but he's like admitted the truth. He's done that a
Yeah.
couple times.
Yeah, he did that. Like the one I remember was him talking about, oh, if anyone touches that book, just so you know, they can't see me, and he chose the one like that specific moment to say it.
Yeah, the beginning of episode 4, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
They have a conversation about Ryuk's tendencies to withhold information until the last second.
Yep.
But yeah, Lulu, you have any more further things to say before we move on?
It just always makes me giggle when he knows something and he just starts grinning. He's like, "Oh, this is about to get interesting."
Yeah, I really like that quirk about Ryuk. It's fun.
Yeah. Another thing I think is just worth touching on is the way Light talks about, like, for example, trust and stuff. It does kind of paint Light as a very cynical person when it comes to human relationships, and I think a lot of other things in the show do as well.
Interesting.
I think that's worth
So
talking about.
you think Light is a pessimist?
Well, so it's weird because Light refers to himself as an optimist, but yes, I do. I think he actually, and I think it's easy to understand this. My view of Light is he believes that humans will not be good people unless there is a looming threat of
So you know what's
of
funny?
immediate consequences.
Light is the opposite of me. He's a pessimist on a micro scale, but an optimist on a macro scale. I'm an optimist on a micro scale, but a pessimist on a macro scale. Like our belief systems are inverse there. It's like I think people are fundamentally good, and that any relationships you'll have in like on a small level will be pretty genuine, and like most people are looking out for one another. But just when you get to like a macro system, there's just too much corruption. Any system
Well,
can't work.
not only that, but you also have the fact that
Power
it
corrupts.
is. I was gonna say,
Ultimate power corrupts. Ultimately, that saying is pretty true.
no, actually, that's not even what I'm talking about. So there's a difference between me hearing Bob down the street has a problem versus, I don't know, Mohammed on the other side of the planet has a problem. Like, obviously, like, I might know Bob down the street. Like, the amount
Yeah.
of people a person can actually care about
I think it's
is
like
limited.
500's the limit, I think. That's about
Well,
like
that's one of the theorized limits, but whether or
yeah.
not that's true, I think that's a very generalized answer. There's probably some that can care about less. There's some that can care
Well,
about
yeah,
more.
because there's some people who are how am I saying that right? Empaths, right? That's the word.
Empaths,
Empaths. Yeah.
empathetic
Basically,
people.
like yeah, but they're like my mom's one for example. Like they'll like feel for a stranger the same way they feel for like someone they know, right? Just like they feel that person's like pain and loss, right? Like
Oh, they're
whereas
just sympathetic, but like
no, empaths, sympaths, sympathetic people. That's like normal people, right?
oh
There's like three stages. There's sociopaths, sympaths, and empaths, right? Empaths are people who like care about like random people equally to people they know, or roughly equally, right? They still care
oh
about people they know more. Sympaths are people who like care only about people they know, and that's like the default setting. I'm a sympath, and then like sociopaths are people who like only care about themselves. So like there's those are the
oh
three.
okay.
So most people are sympaths where they only care about like people they can relate to and people they know, and then the two extremes of the spectrum are empaths and sociopaths.
Yeah, but it
Like I'm not a
is a
soci-
spectrum, and everybody falls in
yeah,
somewhere in that
exactly.
spectrum in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a psychology expert, but that's like kind of my like understanding of the concept.
Yep.
But yeah, Light is a sociopath.
He, well,
uh,
it's weird because Light is a sociopath, but he's a sociopath with like an ideological framework.
well, he's a utilitarian sociopath. Those aren't exactly uncommon. Though there's a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah. If we want to get into the specifics, probably I don't know enough about utilitarianism to say for certain. I don't want to.
Utilitarianism. Some of the basic premises of
Uh,
that philosophy is the
okay.
ends justify the
Iron.
means.
I'd have to like read the actual people who are utilitarian on
Well, I mean,
their
I
like
studied.
view on it.
Well, I
Yeah,
studied it in college, but
yeah, yeah, but my view is like the problem with anyone telling me about an ideology is like uh
well, yeah.
they'll
I
going to
mean,
bring their own
but
biases.
here's the thing too. That's what I try to explain to people. It's not like utilitarianism isn't like something you are or you aren't. Everyone is somewhat utilitarian to a degree. Like it
What
basically
does that
like
mean?
goes.
Message me.
So what it means, Lucas, is basically so the kind of the deontology is like the default moral setting that everyone's familiar with. Basically, it's kind of like you have a moral framework of what is right and wrong, right? And it varies by culture, but there's pretty universal things that people believe is right or wrong. Like it's pretty universally agreed upon that murder is wrong, right? That's like one of the
Right.
easy ones.
Mm.
Whereas utilitarianism is basically the ends justifying the means is right. It's like what it's not the action that is moral, it is the outcome, right? So
Hmm.
deontology is the action is the moral part, where utilitarianism, the outcome is the moral part. So if you try and
Okay.
do something good, but you fuck up and it like gets a lot of people killed, you did something morally wrong, even though you were trying to do the right thing. Whereas if you could, on the flip side, you could do something pretty heinous, like morally speaking, but like it leads to the most good. That would be a morally good thing in utilitarian framework. Like if you
Right.
assassinate someone knowing that it will save a bunch of lives, even if that person like doesn't deserve to die, right? Like that's I mean, like obviously there's nuance to like the situation, but like for the example that's hypothetical, right? If like you have a like it's a trolley problem, right? Like if you blew up an innocent person to save 10 lives, is that morally right or wrong?
Oh yeah, and then you have
Right.
to
And
like
depending on which framework you look at will give you a different answer, because
well that
under
this
deontology you committing murder is morally wrong even though you did it for a good reason, whereas utilitarians said it would be morally wrong to not commit the murder because you're now condemning those 10 people to die since you didn't do it. So that's
okay,
kind of like the difference.
but then you have the utilitarian argument of because a lot of people apply. This is the annoying thing with utilitarians. A lot of people don't understand utilitarianism, and so they apply basically they apply factors that could not have ever been predicted. Uh, to the moral framework, and so you can become like based off those people, which I don't even believe they're like pure utilitarians because of this, but based off that, your action can become immoral like post hoc. Like so,
Yeah,
for
I mean,
example,
I know
let's
what
say
you're saying.
you
I think depends
blow
on
up.
how. Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Yeah, let's
on.
say you blow up one person to save 10, and then those 10 people end up becoming like serial
Serial
killers.
killers.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's it depends on how extreme you buy into the ideology, right? Because there would be some utilitarians who would say you now are committing the more morally wrong decision because those people's blood is on your hands right now. That's with any ideological framework. There people will have disagreements on what is or
Yeah.
what isn't, right? Like that's
I was
like
gonna say
that is
that's one of my major
yeah.
disagreements with utilitarianism is
Some people would say that like the ad hoc thing is now in your hands, which is like
yeah,
as you
I
pointed
just
out, you couldn't have
disagree.
fathomed that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is I would disagree
it's
with it
so
too. I think it's
yeah,
unfair,
it's absurd. I'd
but
say
I
it's
do
absurd.
understand that like it is a logical extension of the philosophy. So like I understand people who do have that opinion. I just disagree with it.
All right, but let's stop talking about
I think we
Wait,
put Lulu to
so
sleep with our
if
philosophy
no,
talk.
this is really interesting actually. I'm
Oh,
listening.
thank you for finding it
I'm
interesting.
locked in.
There you go.
I was gonna make a joke. I would say so. Uh, by this logic, me making everyone in chat watch 5,000 ads is morally good because we get money.
For you, yeah.
hey, what
Well,
do
I
you
don't pay you
mean
guys. I
we?
don't pay you.
Yeah,
We.
we're
Who's a
interested.
we? There is
Yeah.
no your half. There's only my all of it. Sorry.
Oh, that was funny.
Anyways, we're at like towards the end of episode 3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, we're
basically
around the end of episode 3.
yeah, there's really only a couple more things to touch on. So yeah, so Light stops in his tracks after this reveal. He mulls over the new situation he finds himself in. Ryuk reveals to him that so then that just kind of that's the scene ends. He just kind of thinks over what just the information and then continues walking. And then Ryuk reveals to him two differences between a Shinigami and a human Death Note wielder. He cracks another grin before he does this because it's like another kind of one of those truth bombs, especially after the second reveal. That's the big one that he finds really juicy. But yeah, so the first thing he reveals is that gods of death, the Shinigami, get their eternal lifespan by cutting human lives short. Humans cannot extend their lifespan the same way. That is the main difference between human Death Note wielders and Shinigami. So Shinigami do this to extend their own lives because if they didn't, they would die. But like
Yeah.
we'll get more in that in episode 4. So Light finds this difference mildly amusing. Ryuk then has an even bigger grin because he's about to drop what he thinks is a pretty big bombshell, which Light does react to pretty entertainingly for Ryuk. So Ryuk reveals to Kira that he can tell when a person's what a person's true name is just by looking at their face. He says their name and lifespan appears above their heads. Ryuk says if he converted the number into human years, he could inform Light how much longer he has to live. Ryuk says that of course he would never inform Light about that. He said even though he's got a big mouth for a Shinigami, even he wouldn't go that far. So like I always thought that was amusing. Like Ryuk's like, yeah, I know, like I'm kind of weird and like I talk too much, but like even I wouldn't break that rule.
It's weird. So I always thought that the subtitling is weird for how he like phrases this for the sub.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says even if you stretch my mouth, and I already have a pretty wide mouth, it's obvious like what he's like talking about. But it
Yeah.
is like a really, it's one of those things I think just probably didn't translate very
Japanese
well.
translation. Yeah.
Yeah. So then he informs Light that he can grant him Shinigami eyes, and to Light's bewilderment, so like he's just like really taken off guard by this. But then he follows up with, but only if a deal is made. That the price for Shinigami eyes is half their remaining lifespan. The prospect seems to excite Light, but the decision to make the deal or not is left as a cliffhanger till the next episode, and therefore next stream as that. Oh yeah, because we were supposed to cover that last stream because I said that's the end of our coverage for this installment of our
Whoops.
podcast. Whoopsie, I lied. But yeah, so
You lied to
Lulu,
yourself
what
too.
yeah, I did. Lulu, what was your circling back to this? What was your thought process behind thinking he was going to take the deal?
I was thinking like he was gonna be because he said we'll get there, but in episode 4 he says the exact opposite of what I thought he was gonna say. Um,
Yep,
I
that's what I thought
thought
was
I
funny.
thought he was gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, I'll take the deal. Like if I have the eyes of a Shinigami, then like I can use that to make my perfect world even faster than I'm already doing it. And then it's funny because in episode 4 he literally says, "No, I don't want to do it because I want to lengthen my lifespan, not shorten it, so I can like be
Yeah.
the god of the new world longer." Instead of like make the new world faster. So I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
And
Um,
then
Uh,
he made a little comment which I thought was really interesting and because of our situation
hmm.
because he said, "Come on," he basically essentially said, "Come on, Ryuk, I thought you knew me better than that." And like Lulu's avatar was Ryuk, so he's basically like calling out you specifically, like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I thought you understood me better than
I
that."
that's actually a really funny like um comment towards the viewer because every viewer
Yeah.
probably thinks he's gonna do it, and then you're like, ah, you thought, buddy, you thought. I have a prediction though. Don't tell me. I have a
Mhm.
feeling that Light is gonna feel very cornered by either L or something, some situation involving L or like his dad or something, and I feel like he's just gonna say fuck it and like take the eyes immediately, like as a last ditch effort, because there's no way they're introducing this and then being like, oh yeah, no, I don't want it, thanks for asking though, like this is coming in somewhere, like
Check off
I
uh,
can
Shinigami
guarantee
eyes.
that.
Check off Shinigami eyes. What you're saying?
Yeah.
no, no. So you're right. What happens is Iron takes the Shinigami eyes. He kills both of us,
Yeah.
You know, I
and
still
then
wouldn't be able to do
he
that because I
then
don't know what your faces
he
look
becomes
like.
the god of the new world.
Because here's the thing,
Yeah.
I have the opposite problem. I know your guys' names, but I don't know your faces.
Okay, but what
Um,
if
Do you know our wait? So this is the thing though. It's like you don't know our full names though.
no, that's true. I only know your first
wait,
name.
how does wait, okay, plot hole. How does it show their names if names aren't real and they're just a thing we made up?
It's because I
There's
guess I think there's like some kind of like hand wavy explanation that like you psychologically believe that that's your name, so then it links
Oh,
to your
okay.
soul.
this has
Okay,
always
okay,
been one
okay.
of the like weird kind of iffy things with stuff
Like, what
because
if I
I always
change
thought
my
so. One of my
name?
thoughts no. So one of my thoughts was how does this work when it comes to like for example marriage?
I think I think it's like basically that like is there a plot point with that in the show? I forget.
Uh, it's one of those things I think they just don't touch on because I don't
I
think
think it's basically whatever the person refers themselves as in their head, right? Like that's why there's like the running
Yeah.
joke. Like if someone tried to write Bruce Wayne in the Death Note, nothing would happen because that's not what he calls himself.
Hmm.
Like in his head, he refers to himself as Batman. Like when he holds the lasso of truth and like is told to state his real name, he says Batman. So like by
Yeah.
that logic, the Death Note wouldn't be able to kill Batman. He's
Yeah.
literally immune. He's like he's
no.
Batman.
The funny thing is that Death Note probably would actually be able to kill Batman because then all
But
you
no
have
one
to
would
do
try
is
it.
write Batman.
But like, funnily enough, probably no one would try it because like they would just assume that's not his real name and then therefore not try it. But like,
Yeah.
it would probably work if anyone was insane enough to try it.
Also, I
But the only
love.
people insane enough to try it probably wouldn't do it because they think it would be an unsatisfactory way to kill him.
Yeah,
Like the Joker wouldn't
true.
write his name. He probably think that'd be lame.
Yeah, I'd probably think it's like underwhelming. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Joker would be like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
He's like that takes the fun out of it.
yeah.
I don't get to kill. I have like some weird supernatural thing. He'd probably burn the Death Note to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably go on a killing spree first. He'd probably like maybe kill everyone around Batman, but not Batman himself.
He'd probably
Yeah.
like write a handful of names just to like test if it works and see how
Oh, and
ridiculous
also
he can
since
kill
you
them.
can make since you can control them, he would definitely do stuff with that. He'd probably like make Jim Gordon like shoot the mayor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds some funny ways to use the Death Note, and then he'd like burn the Death Note in front of Batman because it's like, yeah, no, I get to kill you. Some
Yeah.
supernatural book doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing, and they do a lot of times. Like Joker will actually save Batman's life because he wants to be the one to kill him.
Yeah.
But anyway, so episode 4, one of you guys can take
Oh wait,
point
no,
for
I was gonna
Oh,
mention this, but when in the animation when Ryuk drops the bombshell on Light about the eyes,
mhm.
they show his big fucking grin like as a shadow like on the wall. And it's
Oh
like
yeah, that's
literally the sickest fucking shot in any animation I've ever seen. I love it.
it's pretty freaking cool.
That's all I was gonna say. Sorry.
But no, all good. I was gonna say one of you take point because I gotta use the restroom. So like I'll be gone for a few minutes. So whoever wants to take over, we're just starting episode 4 now.
Alright, I'll
So
change the
you can switch over
text.
the title card. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, this is where we get like the eyes as like a plot point.
Right.
And I'll say they do come up again, but I'm not gonna say anything more.
Yeah, I figured they would.
Well, I think that's a safe assumption to make. Like, because I think this is a good time to like talk about the eyes and just the implication of it. Because obviously, like you see the person's face and then you like know their name. That is like a massive benefit for the Death Note, and that's one of the
Yeah.
things I like. It's not something arbitrary. It is like the moment you have this power, it's just like
You become like
it.
more unstoppable, basically.
You become more unstoppable, but ironically, at the same time, though, I feel like you have then the problem of. I think a lot of the restrictions of the Death Note have actually been protecting Light. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Somewhat.
Yeah, because what the thing with Light is a lot of the intrigue and stuff with the show is also all about like L is trying to figure out the limits of the Death Note because he's like, okay, well, I'm not immediately dead. That guy I put on the screen is dead,
Yeah.
and like especially
So
because this
can
comes up
he
later too.
can so through the eyes, can you just see a picture of someone and see their name and lifespan, or is it just you have to see them in person?
I can't remember.
Okay.
So
We'll
the
find out.
way Ryu explains it is just when they see their face. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember. I don't. I feel like it probably comes up, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. So episode 4 starts with the anti not anti I wouldn't call it
Well,
anticlimactic,
no.
but
I
it's
would
like
actually call it the opposite. It's so the way this
surprising.
is set up. Yeah, and because I also say this is majorly character important.
Right.
Because it establishes this is really the point where it's already set up
Wait,
before
what the
this, but this is the point where it
Uh-oh.
confirms.
What the
Oh,
hell? You and Iron just disappeared off the stream. What the fuck?
no,
Wait, where's
what?
Iron? He's gone. No.
Well,
Iron, come
where's
back.
Iron? Where's Iron?
Wait,
Oh no,
wait, you came back. Why
we've
is
lost
Iron
him.
not coming back? What the He's still on the call.
Iron, Iron, Iron.
No. I don't know
Nick,
why it's doing
Nick.
this.
Is he like muted, or is
Yeah,
he
he's
just like
AFK.
Okay, wait. Let me try something.
What the fuck? No, on the thing it says his model's still working.
I was gonna say I muted to see if maybe it would like change if I muted. But no. Maybe it's just waiting. Maybe it's just like something with Fugitech.
Fugitex is working.
Hmm.
What the fuck?
Well, maybe he'll pop up once he like talks again.
I don't know. Maybe. Uh.
Uh,
Hmm.
either way, what were we talking about?
Wait.
Got ruined
Oh,
it.
his character's
Oh,
back.
that's true.
Wait,
Oh
he's
yeah,
back.
I did write disappears into into the forest, and you know that has happened. So
Look! Oh, look on the stream. He's back. He's
is
back.
is he? I'm a little bit. Oh, yep, he is. Now we've got our boy back. I'm so proud.
Iron got wrote in the death note. Says Granola. True.
Yeah, I was. That's what I was
Ryuk.
responding to.
Ryuk finally had enough of his shit. Wrote his name.
But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, we get a lot of like character stuff here with this scene with cuz yeah, it seems like it's such an obvious thing. It's like, "Oh my god, you know, Light's going to become more powerful by using half of his life." And then Light is like, "Well, no, obviously I'm not going to do that because if I'm going to be the god of the new world, I'm
um,
going to like be around to see it."
I do like this though because it's like, that actually this reinforces my theory even more about later on what I think is gonna happen is because like a lot of the beginning episodes and I'm sure a couple more after this, um Light is very much just like I have to stay rash no matter what. I can't like or well I have to stay rational. I can't do anything rash. And I feel like there's gonna be a point where he's just like maybe like he feels like L's got him and he feels fucked, so he's just like pulling everything out of his ass, and then the Shinigami eyes are like his like last ditch effort or something. Um, so yeah.
That's definitely a possibility. No, I'm not gonna.
I don't know. Even though I've seen the show 10 times. No, I'm just kidding. But
That's
yeah,
why I just have to say it's a possibility. I can't confirm or deny. But
that's fair.
actually, that's the interesting thing. The episode doesn't actually start with that. It starts with you get the Shinigami talking about Ryuk.
Well, that's after the.
Yeah, that's after the theme song goes.
No. Before the theme song. Wait. Oh wait, you're right.
No, it is
You're right.
right.
You're right.
I'm looking at the episode now.
Yeah,
It's
me
right
too. Me too. Me too.
after.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I find that interesting because the Shinigami are almost like confused. It's like, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Ryuk isn't back yet.
I like how they subtly remind the viewer. Like one of them says, like why the fuck did Ryuk bring 2 death notes? And then one of the other Shinigamis is like, interesting. So yeah, and it seems very clear that like Ryuk is some sort of
It,
like outcast in the Shinigami
yeah.
world because it's like they all just kind of like think he's like a fucking weirdo or something.
Well, there's
So
the other interesting
He's a
thing is
fucking
I
weirdo.
think
Shinigami gods think Ryuk's like a weirdo and an outcast.
yeah, because
Oh,
we talked
I
a
thought you were
little
talking about
bit
Rangy.
about we yeah
Yeah,
so
him
we
too.
talked. I mean, I am, but yeah. So we talked about a little bit about the promise and the result of that, or the Shinigami Eye stuff and the result of that. But then I realized like the whole scene with like the Shinigami talking about Ryuk exists. That's major to Ryuk's character because yeah, he is a. Lulu's right. He is kind of an outcast. He is the guy who's like fed up with the Shinigami world and like how like stagnant it is and how
Also,
it
did
doesn't
my
change at all.
did my avatar disappear? Because I
Yeah,
saw
all of
granola
ours
roasting
did,
and
and then they
Uh,
then
came back.
yeah,
I don't
Oh,
know why.
yeah.
did mine disappear
Uh,
first though, or something?
So Rangi's disappeared, and then yours disappeared, and then his came back, and then yours came back, and I was really confused.
Oh, Oh yeah, because Rangi did write my name, the Death Note, last stream.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
did.
did. But you don't know the conditions of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could die like at this specific second.
By the
Yeah,
way,
don't worry. You'll do that suicide bombing on a cloud
this
college eventually.
literally. By the way, this episode, I don't know if it's like supposed to make you think that, and then it's like psych, or it's just like heavy foreshadowing. But like now, I'm 99% confident that when a Death Note owner dies, they become a Shinigami, because literally Ryuk and Light later on in the episode have a conversation about that, and Ryuk
Well,
like doesn't directly say that, like he like jokes about it, and then Ryuk's
well,
like,
no,
well,
no.
you're on your way to
So,
becoming a Shinigami with the eyes and the wings and the
oh,
everything.
No,
my
no,
my
he said
view on this
he
is
said he would.
entirely
He
different.
said he makes for a fine Shinigami
Yeah, that's
without.
what I mean. That's what I mean. Sorry, I worded it
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. So,
But
well, so my view on it was the way I saw it was just Ryuk is just fed up with how stagnant and like non-committed the Shinigami world was.
yeah, like they just don't care anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like they don't have any like,
Purpose.
yeah, they don't have any purpose. They don't have anyone who's worked a job. I think has met the guy who just does the job because that gives them the paycheck.
You know what? This
Yeah.
reminds me of the Zom 100 themes, kind of like the finding purpose
Yeah,
and the
it actually is
aimlessness.
surprisingly relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, season one, baby.
Hell
So
Yeah.
yeah.
that's a season one
Now
callback.
that Iron is back, though, I'm gonna step away just to use the bathroom real quick and
Oh,
take out my dog.
okay.
But yeah. So season one, was the Zom 100 arc with a Christmas holiday special and a Jeopardy finale, and then season
Yeah.
two will probably just be Death Note.
Season 2 will be
100
half
episodes of Death
half of
Note.
Death Note.
Yeah, because I mean, it will start to speed up because one will I'll start scheduling better, but two, the episodes will be easier to go through since we'll have a lot more of the world building out of the way, and
Okay.
also the first arc is the best arc at because it's so dense, right? Like each the second arc is a little less dense and it's a little more convoluted, which will take some time to go through, but like not as much happens. I think the first arc does a really
Hmm.
good job of having so much happen so quickly, and
Okay.
then the third arc kind of sucks. But we can just kind of fly through that, explain why it sucks. I like I said, I don't know how much Rang agrees with me. I do like the ending. I get why people would be kind of unsatisfied because the build up to the ending was kind of not satisfying, but I think despite that build up, it ends about as strong as it could.
Okay.
With that in mind, um,
Maybe I'll like it more than most people. I don't know.
you might. Knowing you, I don't think you will. I think
Oh.
you'll be annoyed. Some of the um newer characters because each arc introduced new characters. That's like pretty
Oh,
standard.
is it because we talked about like plot conveniences? Is that why? Or
Yeah, some of the newer characters kind of suck.
are they just really
Um,
obnoxious?
yes, they're that. They're we'll go into it more obviously when we get there, but like
Yeah.
because like there's new characters in the second arc as well who I don't think are as strong as the characters introduced in the first arc, but they're still much stronger than the characters introduced in the third arc.
Okay.
So, um,
Interesting. Interesting that
I,
there's like 3 seasons in one season.
yeah, because that's why I call them arcs. Because a lot of times seasons will have like a lot of times a season will be an arc for the most part, give or take. Obviously, there's overlapping threads and all that.
Yeah.
The whole point of having the show, but yeah, because basically, yeah, it's a one season show that has three major arcs. They're so I might be combining two arcs into one kind of thing here, but like there's really kind of like I think most people agree there's like three major kind of like shifts, right? There's like the arc we're in now, then we get kind of go into Act 2 and then Act 3. So that's like I
Okay.
mean, a 3-act story structure is the most common way to tell a story anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
it makes sense that if you're gonna do one season or like one movie, you just do 3 acts because it's like the most universally like for whatever there's like psychological studies on it, but for whatever reason humans like latch on to the 3-act structure.
It
It's like
works.
really satisfying. Yeah, it's for both like reasons we do understand and like reasons we don't understand, right? Like systematically like it's like you have your exposition act, your climax act, and then your resolution act, right? And then
Yeah.
so like it's kind of like it just kind of works that way. You build up to it, you hit the height, you come back down, kind of thing.
Mm,
I have my views on this actually.
On
okay.
what the 3-act structure, Death Note.
Yeah, yes. Well, so 3-act structure and how it relates to humans, because this is the thing with humans is we have the. I think most humans have the view. You have the childhood stage where you're like learning. You
Mhm.
have the like young adult to adult stage, and then you have like the elderly stage.
Where you kind of revert back into a child.
Well, that and just you also pass, the knowledge on to the next generation, you or whatever.
Yeah, there's kind of both of that. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
haven't heard that one before in relation to 3-act structure, but that is interesting. I know what you're talking about. I just haven't heard the two connected before.
yeah, no, well, this is. I didn't hear this from anyone. This has always been kind of my view on it.
Yeah, it sounds like that. It sounds like a Rangi original TM idea.
Yeah, yeah, and there's probably other stages that I'm not going into that someone much smarter and much more
Well,
qualified
you
can
could, I mean, you could modify the
elaborate on.
3-act structure, right? Like a lot of the 3-act structures are really 4-act structures that we just call a 3-act structure, right?
But
Um, because
either way, we should get back to the actual show.
yeah, because I mean, just to end on that note, it's just like because a lot of people will tie the following action and resolution into one act, but you could technically label it as 2 acts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah,
Like, because like
yeah.
you,
So
yeah, rising action,
with the
climax. But yeah,
yeah,
back to the
with
show. Where exactly are we?
so we had talked briefly about the Shinigami eyes, but then we kind of went to the scene before it with all the Shinigami talking about Ryuk.
Yeah, I mean, I only put one
So
note for
I
that
think we
scene.
should talk about this scene, not just for the Shinigami eyes though, but you also have Ryuk dealing with Light's kind of view on the whole thing.
Are we talking about? So we're moving on from the Shinigami scene.
I think so. Do you have any like specific views on the Shinigami eyes and the that scene or the Shinigami scene? Because
I mean, I'm
Lulu
pretty
and I
much.
were talking about it.
I only put the one note. I just said the Shinigami sit around discussing what Ryuka's up to and how none of them understand him. Like, I don't think there was like too much more to glean from that scene.
Yep.
It's just kind of like
Oh,
it's just
okay.
kind of
So
present as is.
yeah, this aligns with what Lulu and I said.
You think it's pretty straightforward as well.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, I have
Hello.
four of those 2 liters when I
Oh,
left this morning, and now there are two. Not even two. There's basically
Okay, shut the fuck up.
well, you could just mute yourself, Rangy.
fun, bitch.
Okay, it's just me now. I have the stream all to myself. All four people watching. What South Park episode should we talk about? How about Scott Tenorman Must Die? That's a classic. So we watched that the other day. A lot of people argue which is the best between Casa Bonita and Scott Tenorman Must Die is like the most classic South Park episode. I'm a Scott Tenorman Must Die person myself, but I can see the argument for Casa Bonita. I mean, the Trey Parker and Matt Stone even bought the real life Casa Bonita because it was going under. So like, I can see them picking Casa Bonita as like the definitive South Park episode. Who knows? Maybe they have a
What?
sleeper pick. What? Sorry, it was just me, so I was just filling the dead air with
Oh,
South Park.
Me and Granola were talking about that place the other day, Casa Bonito.
Casa Bonita.
Yeah, Benita.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
I
good.
had to deal with a quick situation.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I just figured you put yourself on mute because like we could make out a bit of what he was saying. So, but
Yeah,
we're good.
the boy was whining.
Are you gonna write
But
your dog's name in the death note, Rangi?
Wait, my dog? Why?
Wait,
That
who are
was
you
my
talking about? I thought you
brother.
were talking about your dog.
no, his brother.
No, that was my brother.
You have a brother?
Yeah, boy.
I have 3 brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
his
but
name is
Yeah,
Boy?
that was what the situation was.
Voice
yeah,
crack.
yeah.
Holy
His name
shit.
is
He came
Boy.
up to yell at me
Boy.
about something.
His online
Boy.
name is Boy or his real name is Boy?
No. So I call him boy because
Out of War.
his online presence
Boy.
kind of started around the time I was playing God of War Ragnarok, and he
Oh,
has
okay.
like similar friend groups to me, and
Yeah.
so he kind of just adopted the name boy because I kept calling him that on like calls.
Boy.
But he's
That's
been
But
on my channel before.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've put him. I put him on as the baby in the one thumbnail. Pretty funny.
He's
That's fun.
honestly, we can probably have him on stream at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was annoyed at me because, well, honestly.
Well, he was supposed to be on the Jeopardy stream. Party was a sub.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Boy is he works a job with hard to predict schedule, so I can't guarantee
Gotcha.
his. The only time I can guarantee him being off is the weekends.
Imagine working a job that gets in the way of scheduling. So much hate. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
Agent, welcome to the
either
stream.
way, let's continue on because I don't
Oh,
want
but
to divert.
oh yeah, but before we get back to that, since chat didn't answer me, which do you think is the most definitive South Park episode? Casa Bonita or Scott Tenorman Must Die? Yes. Any answers?
Um,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Bernola said Casa Bonita, so yeah. No, I
Makes
respect
sense.
that pick.
I mm, I was gonna say let's continue on either way.
Alright.
Not enough South Park appreciation. So much.
Yo, I can
Anyway,
Wow.
give myself money? That's awesome.
you can
I'd just be
wait. You can
taking
give
a
yourself a super chat.
yeah, I'd be taking a loss though,
Yeah, but
because YouTube takes a
yeah, because
cut.
yeah, so you YouTube
Yeah.
takes a third of it, right?
Yeah, I could just give YouTube all my money.
Give me your
You
monies.
can. Well, no, it's fine though because you don't have any money anyways.
Yeah, I fund Lulu's YouTube operation. I give him
Yeah,
a shilling a month,
true.
or is it a month? It's per month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I give him
you
I
pay
give him
both
10
of us
Park
like
things
a
per month.
dollar an hour.
Yeah.
We're basically your slaves.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, back
So
to
This is
work,
the real like
boy.
capo of the YouTube world right here at Iron.
Yeah.
yeah.
Get back to work,
Uh,
monkey. Sorry. No, his character's a monkey. All
No,
right, just so
the
everyone knows,
the
his
joke
character's
is
a
that the
monkey.
monkey is
See-
telling us to get him back to work.
See, Lulu, it's really funny that like normally that joke would speak for itself, but like since right now
Since your
it's just
character
my
is
name.
light, yeah.
Yeah, people would not get that without explained context.
All right.
But
Anyways, episode 4.
yeah. So light. What? Oh yeah. What part of the episode are you on? I don't
Well,
remember. What you just said.
basically, we're right at the around the part where Light has refused, like the offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
point
yeah, we kind of went
Light
over
got.
how Lulu was completely wrong about that, like usual.
Yep. I'm hoping that
Yeah.
I'm hoping the show will do that a lot because I told Ringy while you're gone I have like 2 major predictions of stuff that will happen,
I
and
heard one
like
of them.
yeah, so I think Light will take the eyes at some point when he feels like cornered by L, and then I think he's gonna die and become like a Shinigami or something. And it's like the show is like hinting too much at both of those things for those not to happen. But like, I'm not saying I want them to. Like, I think it'd be really interesting if both those things actually happen. But at the same time, the show is known for being like, psych, not what you thought was gonna happen, huh? And so like,
Yeah.
I'd be surprised either way. Like if what I predict is true or wrong. So
That's the best case scenario if you're like entertained
Either
and
way,
surprised either way.
either
So
way, the Shinigami conversation I think is actually a really big important thing to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. The, the Ryuk talking about Shinigami and the Shinigami realm is always like super interesting, especially because we get Light's response about it.
yeah, he kind of takes Ryuk off guard a little bit. He's like, "Really? You think that?" Like when Light says like you could take what you learn from your experience here and like change the Shinigami realm into what you would like it to be, and
oh
and
yeah.
that's where he points out that Light's an optimist, and Light's like, "Of course I am, silly." Like, which is like funny because like Rangi called him a pessimist earlier, but we kind of went into
Oh,
the nuances of
yeah.
that. Um,
Societal view versus individual view.
I
correct. Yeah.
I will say though it's very cute Light being nice to Ryuk, and I have a feeling that's not gonna last for very long. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it almost came across as something that Ryuk never considered.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it kind of makes sense because I feel like the Shinigami realm, it's like it's it's been so stagnant for so long. Ryuk is just kind of fucking sick of it. It's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way he talks about the Shinigami realm, and he's like, it's rotting. It's they just kind of sit around doing nothing because they don't know what else to do. And then
Right.
like
Yeah. And they
it's
gamble. Let's go gambling.
Let's go gambling. Is there okay, so it's implied we don't okay, so at this moment I don't know this for a fact, but it's being implied that a human can become a Shinigami. Can a Shinigami become human? Like can they do the
Well,
reverse?
uh, right.
we
How do I
learn
answer this,
more
Randy?
about Shinigami as it goes on.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not trying to spoil anything for myself.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
all
have
I can
questions.
say.
I have questions.
I know. It's
Uh,
just like I don't even know like how to like. You know what I mean, Rangy? I don't even know really. No, we'll just move on. I don't really
we'll
know
move on.
how to
It's
say
okay. It's
I,
okay.
anything about moving. Yeah.
I was gonna say Iron. I think I put it best. We learn more as we go on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't want to set expectations either way. So we'll just move on.
Okay.
Ryuk replies he figured he would tell him this kind of stuff now rather than later. And then Light points out that it already is later. He makes
Yeah.
a remark saying, "If there's anything else you figured you would tell me sooner rather than later, might as well do it now." And then Ryuk's like, I don't nothing else to say, probably. Which is like,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, okay, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, I
Um
was laughing at that part.
Yeah, and then Ryu kind of talks to himself, saying like how Light is different than most humans, how he's not afraid of the fact that he's a Shinigami, nor does he try to suck up to him. In fact, he's actually rather flippant with him. So it's like
Yeah.
he muses on that for a bit. Light also says he might have accepted the deal if it gave him Shinigami wings instead of eyes. He should have been very godlike. Plus, it's been man's dream to fly since antiquity. I forget what's antiquity. I used to know what it meant, but
Like, and I,
like what time period specifically is you referring to? Do you know?
I don't know. Antiquity. Google
I
search.
definitely
The
I definitely
period
knew this at
before
one
the
point.
Middle Ages, also known as the Great Age.
Okay, I
The art
vaguely remember learning
period.
about this at some point. Because like that name, I'm like I've heard that before outside of Death Note, but I just couldn't quite recall. My memory is failing me, unfortunately.
Antiquity is basically just historically. That's the easy way to like it's something from like old history and whatever.
Does it just literally mean pre-Renaissance? Is that all it means?
Ye- I don't know.
Probably. I
The
don't know.
ancient past, especially the period before the Middle Ages, also known as the Gray Age. That's what Google
Okay,
says.
Yes.
so
Yes.
so
Okay. Yes.
it's before the Middle Ages specifically, rather than
Yeah,
the Renaissance. Because the Middle Ages is like the few hundred years prior to the Renaissance.
right.
Um, it's okay, because I guess that makes sense because that's when like English started to arise was in the Middle Ages, so it's like basically pre-English,
Mm-hmm.
pre-English. Um, so Ryuk points out that Wings would easily give him away, and then Light retorts that he was only joking. Sure, buddy, you definitely would want those wings. Like you're not fooling me. Like he literally, when he pictures himself as a god, he always has wings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think
Well,
episode
I
one
think
he
it
did
is a
that right
case
with the
of
imagery.
there's this is kind of light talking about a interest he actually has, but he's also saying like, yeah, but this is my main concern.
Yeah, it's also like he knows it's impractical, but like he definitely is thinking to himself that like fuck, it would be cool. It would be pretty fucking
Yeah.
sick to have
Well,
wings. He's like
what
I would look
what does he
because he would
say?
also
It's
look
a
like a god
desire
too.
that well, oh sorry, what does he say though? He says it's a desire that humans have had since ancient times. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It is true, but it's also like I think he's just kind of like trying to like cover for the fact that like he's like having like kind of like a childish like dream here. I kind of had like Akira wanted to be a superhero, right? Like it was kind of embarrassing until it wasn't. It's kind of the same thing here.
Yeah.
So Light said if he kept bargaining for eyes and wings, it wouldn't be long till he was a real Shinigami. Light remarks that it'd make for an interesting experience. Ryuk tells Light that even without wings or special eyes, he already makes for a worthy Shinigami. Genuine respect from Ryuk here. And I believe you guys touched on that when I left.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ryuk says that Shinigami world is slowly rotting as they all live in meaningless, empty lives. I think you guys also went over that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
he
and
says the only yeah, go on.
I was gonna say this is the point I think is particularly interesting because you have light kind of saying like, oh yeah, you should just take what you learn from the human. Well, first light says, oh, I don't think the Shinigami realm is useless to the human world, and he uses like the Death Note as an example. It's like every few hundred years, or at least every 1,000 years, like the Death Note shows up and it changes things forever in the human world. And then he
Yeah.
like also basically says you should take what you learn from the human world and you should apply it to the Death. You should apply it to the Shinigami realm. And
Yeah.
what's interesting about this is it almost kind of stuns Ryuk. He never really like considered this an option. And I don't think he did. I can understand him not. It's like I think when you're so used to like a thing not changing, the idea of like, well, what if you just go and change it is probably stunning to somebody.
Yeah.
Which Ryuk absolutely was stunned by.
Yes, he was. That's the interesting thing, and I almost say this is
Hmm.
like the moment that Ryuk kind of realizes that's even an option.
I
Yeah, it's
wonder.
one of the more genuine reactions from Ryuk that we've seen so far. He kind of lets his guard down for a moment.
True. I
You were
was
saying?
gonna say I wonder if like I can't be asking this because this is all this answering it would be a fucking spoiler. But now I'm curious if Ryuk like develops the light mentality where he's like, oh, maybe I can change the Shinigami world and make it a better place, and like kind of
It
just reflects light but in kind of a different way.
it's
Guess you'll
interesting because
see.
I think
Okay.
he definitely already kind of did because remember the whole thing was that Ryuk is an outlier within the Shinigami realm
Yeah.
and like he was actively kind of sick of it in a interesting way.
Mhm.
And that's kind of one of the more interesting things I think about Ryuk's character. He's not just a static observer. He's like he actively has his own motivations.
Well, yeah.
Sure, but I would still argue that he's an overall static character.
He is definitely. I mean,
because
it,
I would say he's probably the only static character in the show, really. Well, no, that's a lie. There's one other one. I think you know which one I'm
yeah,
talking about, right?
I know which one you're
Um,
talking about.
what do you mean? Okay, so when you say static, what do you mean by like he doesn't change, or
He doesn't go on an arc,
okay,
like
I
or like
mean,
well,
if
you
you're
know what I mean,
talking
right?
about like characters with significant amount of screen time,
uh,
yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean, and I
like
know
he like
what you mean.
he what I'm trying to say is like from the beginning of the anime to the end, he's like still very much like
the
and the
same.
character you met. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not saying he doesn't like make uh choices that are important or anything like that. It's just that
Yeah,
like you know how in like a lot of stories, right? Like a character will end the story as a completely different character than he started
yeah.
as.
Okay, so you're
Like
saying
Ryu's not one of the characters.
he has a if he has an arc, it's very small. That's all you're saying.
Not necessarily it's very small that it doesn't like
he
fundamentally
doesn't.
change who he is as a
Yeah, he
character.
doesn't
Okay,
really change that person.
Yeah, he
He's
doesn't like transform into like a new Ryuk kind of like
okay,
he's
okay.
still very much the Ryuk you would like basically like if I not a lot of shows you know how you like for example like Breaking Bad like if you show Walter White from episode 1 to Walter White from the final episode like how the hell are these two the same character kind of thing, right? Like
Yeah,
if I showed you like Ryuk from the beginning to Ryuk from the end, you're like, okay, I can see it's still very much the same Ryuk.
yeah, yeah. I got you.
Yeah, and there's one other character I would say Ryan, you know which you know which one I'm talking about. So
I do.
you know this character too, Lulu. You just haven't met them yet.
Hmm. Okay, I know them. Is
You
it
know this
it?
character, you just don't
I
know who they
know
are.
them, but I don't. Is it the love interest for Light?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
yeah, she's very much a static character. I would argue she's actually probably more of a static character than Ryuk.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, she's one of the like examples people use for a yandere character,
Yeah,
Okay.
but
which I know
he
doesn't
says,
mean anything to you guys.
well, you explained it to me the other day, so
I yeah, oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah.
yeah. Well, you can if we hadn't gone on so many tangents, I would say you can explain it to the audience right now. But we
I'll
can you
explain
can
it when she becomes relevant.
I was to say, yeah, you can do it. That's a better time for it anyway.
Okay.
But yeah. So he says the only reason Shinigami take human lives that they are afraid to die themselves. And I wrote, how human of them.
Yep.
That is
So
extremely well. That's the interesting thing. I think the parallels between humans and Shinigami with this
Mhm.
conversation. You have a lot of like elements of humanity in Shinigami, but Shinigami have that problem of they don't have the limited time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so like
Oh.
because humans have the like option to like create meaning in ourselves, and I don't think Shinigami have that is like the big thing.
Yeah. Also, I find it interesting that maybe I could be proven wrong later on, but Light doesn't view Ryuk as less than him or more than him. He sees Ryuk as kind of equal, at least at this point in time. That probably changes at some point, but I think that's what shocks Ryuk the most. Where Ryuk's like, "Oh, he doesn't think I'm like a fucking
He just treats
god."
them like another person. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't think I'm a god or think I'm like a peasant. He just like sees me as his
Well,
equal.
yeah, he doesn't really
So
treat him as a god or a monster. He treats him as a
Yeah.
person, which Ryuk is
yeah,
Well,
surprised by.
yeah. I was gonna say because Ryuk is almost Ryuk is as shocked about that as he is about the like. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you could take what you see of the human world, and you can kind of use it to change the Shinigami world. And it's almost like
right.
my view of it was Ryuk's like never considered the idea of like changing the Shinigami world.
Yeah, because in his head it's always been the same, probably. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Lulu, to go back to the evidence for that point is like earlier in the scene, he comments how like Light isn't afraid of him, nor does he kiss his butt, right? Like it's
yep,
like he doesn't see him as this like higher being or monster. Like he's not afraid nor groveling towards him. He just treats him like how he would any other person, which Ryuk respects.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I can continue going point until we get to the bus scene. Then I'm gonna have to like do some stuff on my end. Like I'll still be here and like chime in, but like one of you two will have to take point by then because this is going longer than I planned on.
sorry.
Which is why I only want to do. No, it's fine. It's just that's why I cut it back to two because I knew I wouldn't have the time for three, which is definitely the case at this point. Um, so yeah, so speeding on a little bit, Ryuk talks about the Shinigami lost their way. Ryuk doubts that there's any reason for their existence in the first place, and if there was, it has long been forgotten. Ryuk essentially says that Light does a much better job than all the slackers in the Shinigami realm at being a Shinigami. Light says he doesn't need to be compared to the Shinigami as he's doing this to make the human world a better place. His concerns aren't with the Shinigami realm. However, he says that doesn't mean the Shinigami realm isn't relevant to him, as every 1,000 or so years, the Shinigami realm will directly interact with the human world via Death Note crossing over. It'll drastically change the world. He says, uh, and this is where he says the comment about taking the lessons from the human world and trying to change it for the better, which we've went over.
Yeah,
So then that's the kind of the end of that scene, or at least that part of the scene with them like conversing about Shinigamis and humans. Because then Light starts planning some fun stuff that we're gonna see some payoffs for real soon.
yep,
So,
And this is where we get into the experimentation, right?
yep,
which is I think one of my favorite parts of the whole show is seeing how Light
Yeah, yeah.
experiments with the Death Note,
I
which is why people really like the first arc because it's very heavy on that. So
I
Light
talked
kills.
to
Yeah.
Lulu before stream about this actually. One of the things that always annoys me in like horror stuff or like stuff that like we're like, oh, this guy gets powers and like does some like nefarious stuff with it. Is a lot of time you never see the experimentation that would like naturally have to occur because like but like light actually does that.
Mhm.
yeah. Like,
And if you do get it, you usually get it a montage at best, where you get more than a montage in
yeah,
this.
it's not like, um, it that might be why people have problems with the ending, where they probably introduce someone that just like has all these abilities versus you see Light like one by one gain all the abilities and like learn all the abilities. So that's probably like way more interesting than like, I don't know, someone new getting the Death Note and then they just know everything and know all the abilities and it's just like, oh well, what's the point? We already explored all of that, so like what new is even happening? But that's just my assumption of why people don't like the second half of the show. Um
No comment.
because it is more interesting to watch that development. So yeah.
No comment.
Anyways.
Yep, no comment. Light Light kills 6 inmates with heart attacks. However, first he makes them all commit bizarre acts. Well, like bizarre like quotations before they die. Like it was very purposeful on his end, but like to an outside
Yeah.
observer such as the police, it just seems very strange.
Yeah.
So of the six, only three committed an action, which we'll see why shortly. He made one draw a pentagram on the wall of his own blood. He made another leave a suicide letter saying effectively he was like scared of Kira and that's why he took his life. And then he made a third try and escape only to make it as far as the bathrooms, which I think what happened there, right? He just basically wanted to see how far he could get, right? Is that what happened in that one?
Yeah.
Well, no, no. Well, so he was. I think he was My view was that he was testing the specifics because the way he explains it is the bathroom I designated. So he was testing if he could do like things on specifics because this sequence of deaths is very interesting because we get L's view on it and then we get Light like kind of explaining each experiment because so
Yeah.
he
Okay.
asked one person so we had 3 that were confirmed, like, so they did the thing that they were supposed to do, and then
Mhm.
they died. And then we had
Mhm.
the 3 that just died of heart attacks. The
Which
3
we'll
that
get
just
to. Yeah,
yeah.
because we will get into that in a sec. I just want to go over because you're skipping ahead from like the L insights.
Kinda, yeah,
Um,
yeah, because we get L like speculating on it and L's views on it, and then we get like the confirmation of what was going
yeah,
on.
there's a Watari who's like still like in his like incognito outfit. um,
Mhm.
sends over the information to L, and then L. So this is where we get like L like saying that like, well, we he can determine the time of people's deaths, but I wonder if he can determine the actions leading up to their deaths as well, which I think still makes sense. But I think this is probably so far the biggest leap he's made. I would argue.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. Well, so L's statement wasn't that. It was that this is Kira's experimenting,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
my
why.
point is that like his conclusion based on these experiments is that light or that Kira most likely can determine the actions leading up to their death as well, which I wouldn't say is like in in illogical to conclude. I just think that like of the guesses so far, it's probably the biggest jump because based off of like 3 actions, I guess that's a pretty small sample size. I would say,
I mean,
but
if
Well,
okay,
I'd say this
so
isn't as much a conclusion as it is a
I
theory at this point.
yeah, because
it
I
is. You're right.
think
I just think it's kind of a small sample size to even have that theory. But I guess when you're dealing with stuff this supernatural, you just kind of have to take the small sample sizes when you get them.
Well, it's interesting because I'm looking at the scene again in the audio or in the subtitles for what Kira actually says, and it is kind of like it comes across as almost like an afterthought, like huh, you know, he this is there's something to this. This is not like his normal pattern, and then like Elle is
Yeah, I
kind of
think.
thinking like, oh, okay, he's testing something.
Mhm. I definitely think concluding that he's testing something is like a very reasonable
Yeah.
theory. I just think that like based off of 3 examples that he can control their actions. I guess
um
maybe because he knows that it's already so out there what the
But
book can do. Why
but
not
the
something even
difference
more out
is their
there?
action. The main difference is their action. Like
yeah,
that
I
is
would
like the big tie-in.
I would say okay. So first of all, actually the biggest leap was Elle figuring out that it was like supernatural, and then after that, I feel like it's once you know you're dealing with something supernatural, it's not too far fetched because after that he's like, okay, you can determine the time of death, and then he's like, okay, you need photo and name, and then after that he's like, okay, so like all of these people dying have done something completely different that they would otherwise not do.
Well, at this
Um,
point,
and
he doesn't know
so
whether it's supernatural or like super high tech, right? Like he hasn't ruled out like some kind
I
of like
guess,
nanotechnology, right? Because it does.
yeah.
I forget, ranking. Does that get brought up as a possibility later?
I don't think it does, no, because I think at this point, even that level of technology is basically indistinguishable from magic anyway,
Well, that's the
so it
famous
doesn't
quote.
actually
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. Isn't that funny that like that guy's most famous for that quote, even though he did like a bunch of other shit.
I mean, I don't even know what guy it was. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Noob was telling me about him the other day. Like he wrote a bunch of books, but like everyone just quotes that one quote of his.
I was gonna say I've heard the quote. I don't know who it came
Yeah,
from.
the name is escaping me at the moment, but I could look it up later. But anyway, so the police are disgusted by Kira's behavior. I mean, that's a pretty standard reaction right there. Elle wonders what Kira is trying to achieve with these test subjects, which
Yeah, and
uh,
L specifically
Light's kind of
states that it
Light's
should
kind of
only
messing
be
with him too,
reported as
which
a heart
will
attack.
yeah.
That's and I think this is another one of those things with that L does where it's like, okay, well, this could be further confirmation because
Mhm.
Light basically Kira. If Kira's still based off of this, that means something, you know.
Mhm.
Like he hasn't. I think at this is the point where L's pretty confident that Kira is somebody, either one of the police officers or somebody related to the police.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and we'll see more so in the next episode. But Light's fucking with L right now, and Ryan knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm really bummed that Lulu didn't get to see the payoff yet. I made a joke about it last stream, and then Rangy made a joke that we would have to name the next stream that, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Well,
So yes,
I was gonna say, well, we've at least got the name Ray Pember.
Yeah.
hmm yeah. Um, three of the inmates did exactly as requested, and then two of the three simply died of a heart attack as he asked them to do impossible tasks like go to the Eiffel Tower in 1 hour or draw an
Oh,
exact
oh no,
replica of
your
L's
notes are
face.
wrong. Okay, no, it was
What?
3 of 6.
No. See, this is where I knew you would jump the gun because I wrote that specifically because he only intended two of them to be impossible. The third one he thought would work, but it
Yeah.
didn't, which surprised him.
Oh, yeah, no, but it was 6. Your numbers
Yeah,
were
so
still off.
no, I said three did exactly as you requested, and then two of the other three simply died of heart attacks because he asked them for
Yeah.
do impossible tasks. So that 3 plus 3 is 6.
Oh, okay. No, I misheard you then.
I might have misspoke, but like I think even if I did, you kind of be able to get anyway. For context clues, but yeah, so three he figured four would work, two wouldn't. Three of the four he thought would work did, and then two, the ones he didn't think would work didn't obviously. But then
Yeah.
the only surprising thing of the whole experiment to him was that um he couldn't make the inmate right. I know that L is suspicious of the Japanese police, which Light concludes it's impossible to make something right something that they don't already know, or rather that it has to be something they could come up with on their own. So it's like not only can he not ask him to do impossible stuff, he can't ask them to do stuff they aren't capable of doing themselves. So it's like
Yeah.
there's another layer to it, which is an important
Yeah.
rule.
And they can't act on information they wouldn't know.
Yeah,
That's
or just act like completely out of character, right? Like a dumb he couldn't make a dumb person explain
yeah.
theoretical
Like
physics.
I couldn't make iron be on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that even the Death Note doesn't have that power.
He just have a heart attack.
I think that's why people have a problem with the ending of the movie because they ignore that rule.
Yeah, the
That sucks.
movie ignores that rule much more than just the ending.
Yeah.
So, Light concludes that he can make anyone do anything that they were already capable of doing, which is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Ryuk wants to know where all this is going, and Light jokes with Ryuk that believe it or not, he's actually a pretty popular guy because he's calling a girl. What the hell's he doing here? Because like Light literally just calls up one of his side pieces to like go on a date.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Well, so this is one of those things. Another thing that's different in the movie that I'm not gonna explain now because we're gonna review the movie eventually. But
yeah, that'll be the end of season 2. We'll be reviewing that movie.
Yeah, the
yeah,
epic
but
finale.
but yeah.
Yep.
So Light is very much the top of the social pyramid as far
Mhm.
as like Japanese like school society goes. He is
Mhm.
the number one honor student in the country. He's he's relatively attractive. He's a pretty socially like capable.
Adept. Yeah.
Yeah, like he is the
Everyone knows one of
top
those
of the
guys who doesn't socialize much, but when they do, they're really good at it.
Yeah.
yeah, he is the top of the social hierarchy.
All right, so I'm gonna go through a few more points, and then I'll let one of you guys take it over for the rest of the episode because I do got to do some stuff on my end. So I'll be here, but I just won't be like 100% tuned in.
Okay.
So
Death
normal.
Note. Death Note title card number 7. The human who uses this note can neither go to heaven nor hell. Death Note title card number 8. If the time of death is written within 40 seconds after writing the cause of death as a heart attack, the time of death can be manipulated, and the time of death can go into effect within 40 seconds after writing the name. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
So Light is glad that the person who's stalking him is here because the whole thing would be a waste if he wasn't.
Yep.
And obviously this is out of Light's knowledge, but like he literally has the last day for this to be possible. So like a bit of a convenience, but like I said, it's not a
Not too bad.
contrivance that matters because basically it only matters that like he was like it like if he was if he you see what I'm saying, right? It's like that like it would have mattered more if this was like a future event, right? That it's like the other way around would have mattered more if he
Yeah.
already quit. Um but yeah, it's just that him being his last day is just kind of like some dramatic extra irony to the whole situation
Yeah.
because like
And I feel like
realistically, yeah, go on.
yeah. No, I agree with you. But I would say also if this was like his first day stalking Light and then like the whole bus thing happened, he'd be like probably pretty suspicious. But since he's
Yeah.
been watching Light the entire time and he's done nothing but be a normal high school student, he's just like,
Yeah, he literally
oh, this
wrote no
is
suspicion. He's like, all
yeah,
right, this will be my last day tailing him.
yeah.
Well,
I don't mind that
also,
convenience.
if we're talking about the are we talking about that yet, or are we gonna
No,
get
Yeah.
we'll
to
get
work
there
on
because
Well,
I'll
kind
let
of.
you take that over because basically the only thing left here is that like Ryuk ponders where this could be going, to which Light replies, "Didn't you read what I put in the Death Note?" Ryuk said he didn't because that would take the fun out of it, which is very in character for Ryuk.
Ryuk's like, bro, spoilers.
Which
Pretty
yeah,
much,
it's
yeah.
just another funny way to not like to tell the audience like, ooh, just keep
Mhm.
watching. So
Yeah. The Light
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
him to be basically like, pay attention, shut up and pay attention because the fireworks are about to go off essentially.
yeah.
And then Light apologizes to the date for keeping her waiting. I said, "How rude of him. You should never keep people waiting."
I know, right? Who would keep people
Yeah.
waiting?
Yeah, who would do that? Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, those people are assholes.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone personally.
No, nothing. No one specific comes to mind.
Nope, no one. All right. Well, on that note, so yes, the girl is very excited to go on a date with Light. Um, and the FBI guy writes down no cause for suspicion for Light. He knows this will be his last day tailing Night, and they get on the bus. So I'll be passing it over to one of you two now. I'm done taking point for this stream.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just we're at the bus scene though. So
Yeah.
that's easy enough to go through. Uh. All right. So. First off, is there anything we want to talk about before the bus scene and with the setup?
Not really. We pretty much covered everything, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I want to like cover that real quick.
Okay.
And give me a second to like remember. This is the problem with watching a show like so many times is like your brain kind of like
Meshes it all together.
yes. But yeah. So basically, Light is so yeah. The Ray Pember thinks that Light is normal high school student,
Yeah.
especially because he has like this date set up, and they get on a bus, which I believe is supposed to go to an aquarium or an amusement park, something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't write down what it was, but yeah. This is the other thing I think is interesting because Light makes a comment about this later, but Light chose like the second to last seat on the bus, which kind of makes it so that the only natural like point where Ray could sit would be the last section of the last part of the bus.
Yeah.
You know, like because he kind of uses this at least in dub later. Because yeah, like they sit at the basically the back of the bus outside of the last seat, and then once the bus hijacking actually starts, that means that when they bring up Ray being in the like last part of the bus, that actually has a weight because of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he is actually the last seat of the bus.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as that goes, it's super interesting because this is almost like I said. It is a very clear test of how far light can push the Death Note.
Yeah. Like what
Because
he can make someone do before they die. Like to what
yeah, and
extent.
what he can make happen.
Oh my god. Here, hold on. So I put in a goal that said like uh if someone donates a super chat, we would write Iron's name in the death note, and then without
Yeah.
hesitation, Granola immediately sent a super chat and sent write their name, write his name in the book. Okay, we will at the end of the stream.
Damn,
Promise.
granola is heartless. I can't believe anyone would like granola.
Yeah, yeah. Who could ever? Um, no, we'll write his name in the death note at the end of the stream. Okay, promise.
No, I've already wrote it. What do you mean?
I don't know. We'll do it on
That's
stream. We'll
why
do it
he's
on
not
stream.
here. That's why he's not here anymore.
We'll write it
I wrote
again.
that.
We'll write it again.
True. Actually, that's an interesting thing. What happens if somebody writes somebody's name in the death note that's already been written?
You'd probably just do the first one, right? So like, if I wrote, I want Iron Mandrill to die by decapitation in 5 minutes, and then I wrote like, I
I
want
want him to die. I want him to die from breaking his
suffocation.
neck in 6 minutes. In six
Yeah,
minutes,
and
like a
yeah.
minute
So
later.
would it cancel the first one, do the second one, or would it just stay with the first one?
This is
Or
one of those
would it
things I.
do it? Would it do whichever one's faster? Whichever happens first, like in the timeline.
Mhm. That's a
See,
good question.
this is why fucking there's like too many fucking plot holes with the concept of the Death Note.
Well,
Um,
like I think I brought it up earlier. It's just like, what about like if somebody gets married? You know?
um, yeah, you probably just write their like maiden name, right? Um,
Oh, that's what I mean. Is though it's like that's the question. It's like, is it their maiden name or is it their like birth name?
right. I don't. Yeah, I don't
like,
know. uh,
does the Death Note take recognition of like legal name?
I don't know. But anyways, so what's his name? So a guy goes to hijack the bus, and then
Yeah. I don't
everyone's
think they ever give his name.
no, they don't say his name. Well, they do at the end when like at the end.
They,
Um,
they do say his name, but like I don't remember it.
yeah,
Yeah.
generic.
I know they say the FBI agent's name, Ray Pember,
Well,
but
yeah,
I
Well,
don't
they
know.
say the killer's name when he's on the news.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but this is so this whole like killing. Before we get into thing, it's interesting because this is another aspect of like kind of deception because he's almost hiding the fact that he can kill people through accident because he's been using the heart attack meta.
Yeah,
right.
that because that's something I didn't want to spoil for Lulu yet, but I guess it's not that big of a spoiler. Basically, the main reason he was doing it so that people would know that there's someone doing it, but like as Rangi pointed out, the second reason he was doing it so that he would still have aces up his sleeve to play at later dates. Because like at this point they are complete unaware he has the ability to do that. Like they think he can
Yeah.
only kill through a heart attack. They know he can do different stuff with the heart attacks, like when it happens or what they do until they have the heart attack. But like they don't realize yet he can like affect like people's surroundings by like making it hit by a car, like Final Destination style.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Well, yeah,
right. They only think so right now they think he can only kill via heart attacks. He can't kill any other way. So
Mhm.
yeah, and that's kind of why this hijacking works so well, because
it makes
they
it seem
can't.
random.
Yeah, yeah, because well, Kira only kills through heart attacks, so this bus jacking is just like a bad timing. You know,
Yeah.
it's a coincidence.
Yeah. Um
But Al doesn't believe in coincidences, which we'll see how that
yeah.
goes.
True. Um but no, yeah, I love how like the guy goes to hijack the bus and then everyone's freaking out and then um Light is just like super chill. He's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all going according to plan." And
Mhm.
he um converses with the FBI agent behind him and then is like, "Oh, what if you're the second hijacker? I need to
Really
This
confirm
is
smart
your
move on his
yeah,
part.
identity."
this is the interesting thing because what Light says is kind of plausible enough to like make it so that so that Ray Pember they use
Especially the girl's
lie.
reaction. I think that what doesn't get talked about enough when people discuss this scene is her genuine like, "Oh yeah, I've heard that." Like Light kind of put the idea in her mind, obviously, but he's suspicious of Light, not this girl. So when this girl kind of like um seconds that like completely
Yeah.
genuinely, he's like, "Oh shit!" Like they
Yeah.
probably do suspect me. I gotta clear my name. He's like, besides, I said earlier to myself, "There's no way he's Kira." Wrong. Rip
Yeah,
Mojo.
well, this is kind of one of those things too,
Wait,
where
hold on.
it
Hold on.
also relies on the fact that the police don't know
Iron.
how Kira's powers work.
Iron, I
Mhm.
got you. Light's totally not Kira. There you go. I don't know if the chat can hear that or not, but
I heard it.
it's in Discord.
They can probably hear it. But if not, actually, wait. Let me see if there
Okay,
we
the
go.
chat. Okay, no. The stream definitely can hear that.
I was gonna say they can probably hear me doing it if they can't hear you doing it.
I'm not sure. Either way though. Yeah. So I think if actually you have a good point, Iron, because I think if he just himself was like, "Show me your ID," he'd be like, "Fuck off, kid." But since both of them were both like suspecting him, he was like, "Okay, I just gotta like quick like do something, so they don't like fucking tackle me and like fucking try to take my gun or something."
Well,
And
it's
He doesn't
also
want there to be more
it.
panic. He wants to try and calm down the situation.
yeah.
I was gonna say it's also just is a high stress situation. It's like
Yeah.
you have to like make a decision right there and then, and
Yep.
so that kind of like is going to affect Ray's decision making, obviously. And then I think the fact that he doesn't get like killed immediately. Well, this is the other thing. He uses this as an example
Yeah,
because he doesn't know
he's like,
how.
if yeah, go on. I'll let you do it.
Yeah, he says uh, Kira's able to kill just instantly. This guy isn't dead.
Yeah.
If if this guy was Kira, the suspect would die of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he doesn't know that Light. He can't know that Kira can do this to people. So he's like, oh
No.
well, this really was
Yeah.
Kira.
Not even
He
Al
would just
knows
kill
it
him to
yet.
defend himself. Yeah.
Um. But yeah.
Also, another thing I think is interesting too is that Light was shocked that he was an FBI agent. Like that he was not expecting that. Like of everything that happened, the only thing that was unexpected was the fact that it was an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That was
I
interesting.
think that's fair though, because you would not assume that your local. You wouldn't assume that like foreign intelligence agencies would be like,
Hunting her
Like
down.
shadowing some high school kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he knew Light would spy on the police. He didn't realize he would go that far that quickly.
Yeah.
That
You
also
mean L
probably
would
what
spy on the police?
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I
also
hate
probably what made the FBI agent like believe Light, because he could see Light's face and Light be like, "What the fuck, the FBI?" And so
yeah, that like it was.
yeah.
He didn't have to act there. He was
Yeah.
genuinely surprised that there's, which is
Which
a good
adds to the
reaction to have. Like it
believability.
would have been weird if he wasn't surprised that there was an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's like if Iron got like stuck in a hijacking and somebody was trying to reassure him, and it was like Mossad. What?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Israelis, FBI
Oh,
slash CIA.
okay, yeah,
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Or
very surprising.
yeah.
the
Or like
KGB.
what's the Britain one? MI5?
MI6, MI6,
MI6. MI6. Yeah, MI5 was
KGB.
something
The
I think
KGB,
something
yeah.
different. Yeah, like yeah, Iron. I'd imagine it is Iron. Like what the KGB is there.
Yeah, cause FBI is like that only exists in America, right?
Well, yes, the FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They're a federal
Right.
organization.
Yeah, it's an
They're,
American agency. Like that's why I was
Yeah.
surprised that they were even over there because usually the FBI only deals with internal affairs.
Right. Yeah, because we talked
so,
about that. Yeah, because
but
FBI
we do
is
know
within country. So
Yeah, well, we do know that. So L has like multiple like cases under his belt. He probably has multiple favors he can call in,
yeah,
and it makes sense if he would call in the FBI because
I think
nobody
so.
would suspect the FBI to be involved in this.
Yeah, and plus it's like the more the merrier. You're like, okay, you got the
Well,
local police, you got the FBI, you got the board or directory, you got L. Like anyone who can be put on this, like be put on it.
Light is
So
surprised about the FBI being involved. You know,
yeah,
like.
because as
But
far as he
I'm
knew,
gonna
he
step
just
away real quick, but you can kind of walk things through.
okay. He just thought it was just the police. Um, At least that's what I assumed. He was like, "Oh, the silly goobers at the police station never gonna know it's
He thought it
me."
was just the police and L. Like,
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, like other countries are trying to find me now." Like, "Oh shit." So it gets a little more serious. Um, so yeah. Um.
also, just funny having Ray Pemba like in Japanese, like all like just a
Yeah.
very American name.
Yeah.
You probably don't get that because you're listening to the dub, and the sub is like Ray Pemba.
That's so fun. It's probably weird when they talk in English in the normal version.
Yeah,
Cause
I really like the Death Note dub. I think it's a pretty good dub. I mean, I'm not like
yeah.
the expert on dub versus sub. That'd be Rangy, but like
Um.
I usually watch in dub, but I actually watched Death Note for the first time in sub,
Oh.
which I think is I think that's another thing too. Whatever you listen to it first will probably give you kind of like more fondness towards. Because then I listened to it in dub with my parents up 2/3 through. So there's some characters I actually don't know what they sound like in English. And
Huh.
then
Okay.
uh I'm listening to this time again in Japanese. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Uh. Fuck. What was I gonna say? I don't know if I can remember.
something about the FBI.
No. 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 I was gonna say something else. I think. Oh no, I was gonna say it's like when it was really funny. People reacted to Squid Game like that, or like it'd be the normal like Korean, and then the front man would be like, "This is the front man speaking," and then he'd like be talking to the VIPs, and people were like, "What the fuck? Did we accidentally click on the dub? What is happening right now?" And then it'd be literally just people in the show talking in English, like
Yeah,
because
that was
it's really
funny.
funny. In season 2, you have Thanos, and he talks in English like a lot, And
Yeah.
so yeah.
It's more natural for him though. Like it's like it kind of like flows, but like for like
Yeah.
in season one when they would do it, it was just like out of place. Know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Because like Thanos, I think kind of switched between them pretty organically, whereas in
He
season one it's
would.
like,
No.
oh, I am speaking
See,
English now.
Yeah,
well, I
yeah.
was gonna say, see, season one also had that problem where, like, the characters are speaking English, but it sounded very unnatural because the actors were clearly not used to speaking actually like in English.
Yeah. Um
I haven't seen season two, but like season one I have seen.
yeah,
But
season 2
yeah,
they handled better for sure.
as
Cuz
far as the dub goes, like Death Note is considered one of the better dubs.
oh, is it? That's cool.
It is.
It's really
It,
good. Like I haven't had any like obviously animations to do obviously animation is easier to dub than live action, but still I haven't really like noticed
well,
anything be like, "Oh,
the
that's rough"
problem
or something.
so I a lot of the problem comes down to
Translation of
because
words.
Well,
translation is a big problem, but
which
also
I think,
there's a lot of dubs I've seen where the lip flaps and like
Oh
the
yeah.
way characters talk just doesn't fit because it was made for the Japanese and not the English, and so they have to like be a little more clunky in order
Yeah.
to like translate it to English.
I would say
I
this
think there.
show. Oh, sorry.
Mhm. No, sorry. I'll just
Um,
real quick. Go on. Yeah.
no, no, good, 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 good.
Okay. So I think there's like three things that work in Death Note's favor compared to a lot of other animes. Is one, I think the biggest difference is there was a lot of English in mind already for this show, right?
That's
The
what I was
author
gonna
already kind of
say.
had sorry.
No,
The
you're good.
author had like kind of a fixation with English, right? Like he integrates it into his anime a lot more or much more than most, right? There's only a couple other anime I can think of that integrate it as much.
Yeah,
And then two, Death Note has a higher budget than most animes, so they can like redo the lip syncing better. And then three, it's a shorter anime, so like they can kind of like take the time more to really get it down per episode. Like with Naruto, when you have like 700 episodes, you can tell they kind of slacked off in certain parts, especially the filler. Like the filler dubbing, like the mouth movements look terrible.
yeah,
And then I guess a fourth thing would just be that like it has a pretty good voice cast. Like that's sometimes the issue. Sometimes the English voice castings are pretty bad, whereas like
Yeah.
all
right.
the main castings for this are pretty solid. Like people
I was,
do the L and Kira impressions in English all the time because the English actors are so iconic.
well,
True.
I was also gonna say, well, there's I have another bias towards the English dub of this. Uh,
Okay.
actually, Iron, I don't know if you've heard, but the voice actor for Light is the voice actor for Rock in Black Lagoon, which is the anime I would say I actually prefer the dub over the sub.
Okay.
Hmm. Interesting.
For
Oh yeah,
me,
they're both Madhouse productions.
okay. For me, the clearest example of preferred dub or sub is Cowboy Bebop. I think the dub is much better than the sub.
Huh. Why is that?
I think the voice actor for Spike is literal perfect voice acting casting. Like I get that Steve Blum is overused, but like this is before he was overused, and also I think is his best role as well.
Okay.
You probably have heard Steve Blum before.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Sub Zero, Killer Croc.
Oh.
He's
Yeah,
he's Tank MC, bro.
Amazing
Wolverine.
Astronaut. Is that true that Elle's voice actor is from Battlestar Galactica? I didn't
That's
know that.
cool.
I didn't know that either.
Oh no, what I was gonna say is you pretty much said what I was gonna say. I would say it seems like when they're animating the show, they had the English and Japanese both in mind, so that when the character talks, it doesn't look like they're speaking Japanese or English. It just looks like they're just talking. And so like no matter what language it is, it looks good. So I think that was smart of them to do. If they did that intentionally, maybe it was unintentional. I'm not
Uh,
sure.
so a lot of what definitely another thing is a lot of the dialogue is very well translated, and I think that's another reason that it's like so popular as like a dub project
Right.
as well as a sub.
Okay.
Because I've seen a lot of anime where like language was really important, and then they just like they fuck with it in the dub in a way that doesn't work.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a problem for some shows where like the translation is like way off and you're just like that's not what that character's saying. What are you talking about? And so it just
Yeah,
looks weird.
yeah,
But going back to episode 4, um
yeah. We should
so
probably finish.
yeah, what's his name? um Light is like, oh, this motherfucker ain't gonna shoot us, I'll prove it. And then he drops a piece of paper. Everyone on stream, don't mind that noise you just heard. I accidentally clicked on something. Um, uh,
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
possible?
Don't mind him
I
opening
opened Game
Pornhub.
Jolt. I opened Game Jolt on accident. I don't even fucking use Game Jolt. Why is that in my taskbar? Get
I
the
was gonna
fuck out
say
of here.
don't mind him opening up Pornhub on
Yeah.
stream.
Sorry,
It's
sorry.
entirely
uh,
normal.
um, no, what was I saying? Oh, he's like, oh, here, he's not gonna shoot us. Let me prove it. And so he drops a piece of paper, which you assume is just like the notes he was passing to the girl saying like I'll like take down the robber if he comes back here or something. And like it's intentionally done to mislead you, and then when you realize um or wait, no, sorry, you don't realize. So the guy picks it up and then chucks it, and then you're like, okay, normal paper, I guess. And then the guy starts like freaking out, and you're like, what the fuck? Why is he just screaming? Is he a schizo? And then you realize he can see fucking Ryuk, and then Ryuk's confused. He's like, huh? And then he was like, oh my god, he just picked up fucking a piece from the Death Note. He can see me. And then the guy just starts like unloading his mag into Ryuk, and Ryuk's just
Well,
like staring at him.
it's
He's like, nice, good job.
it's really funny because so the way it is so the he'll never shoot us at us is like internal dialogue. It's not actually fed
Yeah,
by
no,
Light.
I know, yeah. It's like him
Yeah,
thinking.
but Light accidentally, quote unquote, drops a piece of paper. The guy walks up and picks it up, obviously thinking like, oh, okay, obviously these people are passing notes.
Yeah.
I'll look at this and shoot them. And it's like, oh, it's normal paper. And then he sees Ryuk. And it's like, oh, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Ryuk
I think
jump
this was
scare.
genuinely one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. Like it's just like even upon rewatch for the third time, it gets me every time. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so sick. Cause like I vaguely remembered how the scene played out, but I didn't remember like the specific details. Like the like every step of the way being planned out is just so
Yeah.
cool.
Also, good
Yeah.
good mechanic that was introduced in episode 1, where it was like, anyone who touches the Death Note shall see Ryuk, and you're like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
cool. And then they don't do anything with that until now, where you like weren't
Mhm.
expecting it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll probably be
it
used
is
again later
literally
on,
thing.
but
Yeah, it highlights that they are willing to like hold off on mechanics too.
yeah,
For far
I
later on.
I do like that they introduce a bunch of mechanics, and then like you don't know, because there's so many and they're like kind of complicated, you don't know which one they're going to use, and so it
Yeah.
surprises you, and that's like very good. It's like
And
smart.
Yeah,
that
well, cause I remember Iron and I kind of like trying to like veer around this mechanic when it was
Mhm.
introduced in the last stream,
Yeah, because
where
there's
we were like, yeah, that's a thing that happens.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, we did
it
talk about it
might,
briefly.
and Iron and I are like, yeah, that might come up later.
This is a good example of how to do a magic system, right? Like you basically put up the majority of the rules up front, right? There's a couple things you'll see, but like the vast majority of the rules are up front. And you just kind of get to see them get played out over time and in different unique ways, right? And in combinations of things too. Whereas like a lot of stuff like Doctor Strange, right? Like as much as I enjoy that character, it's a really boring magic system because you can just do anything at any time, and there's really
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason when he uses any of his powers. So it's like it's kind of like a boring magic system in my opinion. Like I'm not saying you can't do interesting soft magic systems. Like I think Game of Thrones is pretty interesting soft magic systems, but like usually I prefer hard magic over soft magic. And if you don't know what that means, it's basically having like a defined rule set versus not. It's like the main
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, like I can do magic versus like having specific abilities that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Like Harry Potter would be a soft magic system because even though all the spells have like specific names and some are like pretty frequently used, like it still is a bunch of bullshit, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
kind of limitations or like even like consistency to all the different things. Like they can
Yeah,
make their
it-
poop disappear. Like that's like one of the main things wizards do apparently. J.K. Rowling confirmed that in a
Yeah.
tweet. Like that was
Well,
the
yeah, yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
Basically, even outside of like the tweeted like weird shit, it's like uh the Harry Potter. It's like literally like you could introduce any given spell and it just like works in the world because
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I think
Yeah, just like
that's
turn your bones to mush. Well, okay.
yeah. I think that's why people enjoy the Witcher because in that like fantasy world their witchers can only learn, at least the main character, he only learns like 6 spells, I think, like six
Yeah, yeah.
magic
So
attacks he
the
can
way it
do.
works is
So
Witcher's magic is like tied to like these specific like sigils or these
yeah,
specific
yeah, it's like it's
emotions.
limited though. It's like they can only
Yeah,
do a couple.
yeah,
And
because they're like
so
hand signs.
yeah, and it makes it interesting because like he can't just like whip out his dick and then like do any fucking
Whoa,
spell in the
whoa, whoa.
world. He like only has
Well,
a
I
you know
tuned
few to
what?
out.
You know
I
what?
select
just
from.
I
heard.
You know
also
what I
can't
mean. You
whip
know
out
what I
my
mean.
dick.
You know what I
No,
mean.
I don't. I tuned out. What the hell? All I heard is he whips out his dick. What?
He's
Oh
pulling his
my
Look,
cock
look,
out.
god.
look, look. It makes sense. You whip out your dick and then you just seduce the gods to do whatever you want.
Whip out his dick and twist it.
Twist his dick, Spider-Man.
Twist his dick.
No. Oh no! I think the funniest
Yeah,
part is just Lulu is dying right now.
I was the one who made the joke. It shouldn't even be that funny. Just Iron's reaction to it, though. But yeah, no, Witchers can't do any spell they want. They're limited, so it makes it more interesting to circle around. The Death Note has very strict rules, and to see how he uses those like specific abilities that it has and in what combinations is what makes it appealing versus something where, you know, like Harry Potter, you could just willy-nilly do any spell ever. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too because this story is very like it's very so it's the way it's very clear on the restrictions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Light had to like test them out to like know exactly what the restrictions are, and it does have to be something the person could end up doing on their own. Like
Yeah.
he tried to
Right.
like make that this is why the fourth person the fourth thing that he thought was possible failing is like so important.
Mhm.
The person has to like be able to come up with the action on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you couldn't like because he already knew he couldn't make someone like lift a building, right? Like he knew that, but like he didn't realize he couldn't like make someone just like
Yeah.
say something random. Like if they couldn't come across that thought on their own, then they can't do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's another
I
layer.
can't
I
force
think
Iron to think.
yeah, yeah. That's why people don't like the movie, cuz at the end, I wouldn't say Light forces people to do impossible stuff. All of it in the movie is definitely possible, but I feel like it's a little too mind controlly when cuz like in the anime it's like, oh, there's very specific a line that you can't cross because the death note doesn't go that far with its abilities. And then like the movie kind of like pushes that like it kind of stretches that a little bit, not an insane amount but
A
still a
little bit.
little.
Okay.
So no,
Okay.
like
A little.
no one does anything physically impossible.
Well,
It's
we'll get
just
to it.
Yeah,
it's just
like don't
some
We'll
I don't want to
get
little
go
to it.
into
mind
it.
con
I don't want to go into it too much now because I'm gonna have my own opinions on
yeah,
this
yeah,
when I
yeah,
eventually watch the movie.
sorry.
All good.
Look. I'll just say, I think you're stretching the words a little bit.
I whatever.
They're doing a lot of heavy lifting for you, Rangy.
They absolutely are, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
um
Did you go over that Light cracked the Ryuk smile when he got the FBI
oh
agent
yeah,
card?
when he got his
I,
name, I was gonna
yeah,
say
I always
that.
thought
Yeah.
that was a fun little similarity. Like I don't know whether or not that's supposed to be like he's picking up on Ryuk's habits, or that's just like showing that they're again similar in a lot of ways. Either
Yeah,
or, it's an interesting comparison.
for sure. Um,
Either way, I still love the reaction Ryuk has and the reaction the guy has, because
Yeah.
uh the guy Ryuk is almost like Ryuk is surprised. He's like, wait, holy shit, you can see me.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah. He's
just
like,
as
what?
confused as the shooter is. They're both just like, what the fuck is happening right now? But I see
Yeah.
where you can piece it together pretty quickly, where the other guy is never going to be able to do that
Well,
in the
yeah,
short
because
amount of
Ryuk
time he's
has the
left on this earth.
information to know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
but yeah, and then he just shoots through him, and Ryuk's like, "Nice try, Bozo. That's not going to work on me."
yeah. The hijacker just looks like a schizo, and then demands that the bus driver stop, and then he runs out and gets hit by a car, and then he did.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
And
then
well,
oh what?
no, I'll say this at the end because I think it's gonna make a nicer. I think it's gonna be a nicer plot hook for our next stream.
What do you mean?
Um, well, he's going to save it to the end, so we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then he runs out. Did you say he runs out and get hit by the car yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and then 11:45, Light remarks to himself as he looks at his watch. It went down to like the second he said it would.
Yep.
Yep.
And then he says the death note never fails, and then his final line is "You're next, Ray Penbar," which is like very ominous.
You're
Well,
next.
And the
and
Japanese pronunciation, Ray Penbar.
so
Rip
yeah,
and-
what do we think about this? Because I think we're near the end anyway.
No, that was the last line. It cuts to
Yeah.
"To be continued." So that was
Yeah,
episode 4.
okay, that is what I remembered it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna say
Yeah,
next.
we could have watched the 4 and 5 back to back, but
No,
no,
dude, look at this. This
some
was a
could have.
3-hour stream
monkey didn't
again.
want to.
We did another 3-hour stream for 2 episodes. We're averaging 90 minutes an episode.
No, we still got 20 minutes left until 3-hour mark. Okay.
Dude, we're gonna hit that, and we always take 20 minutes to wrap up.
I guess.
You know what?
I guess.
You look. I guess if you want to
Dude,
be,
I know how he
gay
works.
about it.
I know how he works so well that literally when I re-listened to last stream while I was driving for work, I said we have probably about 20 minutes left until we end the stream, and I was right on the money. There was 20 minutes left, almost exactly when I said that line.
Yeah.
I was on the money.
I will say, once we're done, we should probably plan the date for the next one more better than we have.
Yeah,
We are off
also
for next week.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, so if we do it 2 weeks out, that gives us more time to prep for a longer stream.
Yeah, we'll talk
Making the-
about that after stream. I'll talk
Yeah.
to you guys about that.
So, but just real quick, what's
I
the general
love
idea of what we're thinking? Like, no more than 4, I would imagine, in the first arc. Because like
Yeah.
after we get through the first arc, we can probably do longer amounts of episodes. But like I said, the first 12 or so episodes are definitely the most dense. So
Yeah.
Well, especially these like 4 episodes, because
yeah, because
especially given that it took us like an hour and a half to get through episode what? No, like an hour and 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. I'm pretty sure it took more than an hour to get through the first episode, and that's not even that's one of
the
those
first
least dense
first
episodes.
episode it took us
First,
2
like,
hours to get
6.
through. Oh, you mean the first
Yeah.
episode of this stream?
Yeah, the
Dude,
first episode
another
of the stream.
another ad, Lulu. I think this is like the 9th one. I've lost count.
Oh, by the way, I just want to point out.
Iron watching ads specifically is like sustaining the entire channel.
True. Yeah. I just want to point out, as soon as we mentioned Witchers whipping their cock out, we got like a spike in viewers.
I was gonna say we
Everybody
were at like
immediate drop
10
off.
It went from
there.
like 6 to like 10 people.
Oh, we have
Yeah,
8 right
yeah,
This
yeah.
happens-
Apparently,
this happens
Witcher.
every time,
Apparently,
Lucas. We get as we're wrapping up. Look, we're at 9 now. Every time as we're wrapping up the stream, everyone pours in.
Yeah.
it's as soon as we mention Witchercock, which means we have to mention
Yeah.
Witchercock in the first like
Yeah.
30 minutes.
That's the
of
key to
next-
success, guys.
I mean, if it's Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Whoa, wait.
yeah.
As like the resident gay. Iron, are you saying that you would fuck Henry Cavill?
No
All right,
comment.
guys. Next stream, if we get a super chat, Iron has to whip his cock out. All right, I'm sorry.
No,
I think we've all- I think we've all
I think we
collectively
need to
lost our
set that
minds.
as a higher goal. I'm sorry. I think we have to.
2 super chats.
3, take it or leave it.
Deal or no deal.
Wow.
Deal or no deal.
So the what we learned is for the low price of $8, Iron will just
Well, I was
OnlyFans.
mostly referencing Patrick there from the Flying Dutchman scene. 3, take it or leave it.
Alright, you guys can self-promote or
This
whatever.
is just the truth. Okay, yeah, because we're done, so I might as well.
I'm gonna
no,
write your
I'll
name
still
in the
save
death
that.
now.
I'll still save that. I'll try to leave that as an ending line. But yeah, Rangi Nui is my channel. I do gaming streams and anime stuff. So if you like this, you might like my channel. Outside of that, I'm planning to stream tomorrow. I haven't scheduled anything yet though, because I might be hungover enough
Is it
to
Red Dead
not stream.
Redemption?
It should be Red Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, best game ever, baby.
Yeah, that's what I've been streaming, and it's actually been doing good numbers.
Nice.
But yeah.
People need to put respect on its name. Well, I'm acting like people already don't. It's one of the most highly regarded.
I was gonna
video
say
games.
it's one of the most highly regarded, and it is literally the highest regarded Western game of all time.
To be fair, there's not many competitors.
There's
They
not.
kinda,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like even
but
Red Dead
I feel
Revolver
like
is still the same company.
It's like
I was
trying
gonna
to
say,
series.
it's like trying to compare GTA to something. It's like there's literally no competition.
yeah,
Well, I guess there's
it's
like the
Saints
Japanese
Row.
version of that, right? Like Yakuza, whatever. It's kind of GTA.
Well,
like.
Yakuza isn't really
Yeah.
like. Yakuza isn't really like GTA. They are
Or
very.
what are you about to type
very-
Iron Man drill on there? Is that what you're doing?
No, guys, look.
But-
Look, I'm doing it. I got the pen. I'm doing it. I'm writing his name. I'm doing it. I'm going to write names
Alright.
with one hand and use my other hand to take a potato
chip.
chip.
Right.
And eat it.
While you're doing this, I'm
Okay.
just gonna say.
Oh, wait, where's his name? Where's his name? Hold on. Let me
It's a damn
Oh, look.
shame
Guys, look, his
that
name. His name's on the
whole
Death
like
Note.
scheme, yeah, this whole scheme was a massive mistake for Light.
Guys, he's dead. No.
Yeah, but yeah. Like I said, this whole scheme was a massive mistake for Light,
Yeah. Wait, what are
and
we talking
comes
about?
back to bite him in the ass.
Oh, trying to figure out the FBI agent's name. Yeah, I figured that would fuck him. Probably Light would probably be able to figure out like who he is now.
No,
um,
it comes back
or not
to
Light,
bite Light
L. Sorry.
specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. You don't even know the half of it. And on that note, that's what I can say.
Wait, Iron needs to come back so he can self promote his YouTube channel. Or did he already do that?
Let's resurrect Iron. I'm
Okay.
starting the necromantic ritual.
Okay.
Iron,
Iron, you gotta self promote.
to speak to us about your YouTube channel before you return to the land of the dead.
Self promote.
Yeah, I've returned from the Shinigami realm. It's pretty boring there. They don't do a whole lot.
Damn.
Why? What do you mean they gamble? That's like
I'll say they do.
what
They
you
do gamble. I do
Gambling is pretty
enjoy
fun.
gambling. Let's go gambling. Oh dang it! But
Well, you're back. That means you won, right?
yeah, this time. It's usually not how that goes. But yeah, Iron Mandrill. I like to think I make entertaining stuff. I wouldn't go as far to say I make good stuff. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, but I think you'll be amused by my insights on things and my little stupid jokes and cutaway gags. I like to think.
His podcast is really good, especially that one host, the Weeb guy.
Yeah, Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu's
Oh.
pretty good.
Yeah, the Weeb guy.
Yeah,
Lulu.
the weeb guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, him too, I guess. Yeah. we could take or
Lulu, the
leave
Weeb
him.
guy.
But yeah, I one day my channel will make more sense, but today is not that day. I still have a
Dang.
couple random stuff in the pipeline, but I will if I ever like decide to really get serious, I'll probably like stick to a particular niche, kind of how like Lulu did with Dexter, and like grow my channel. But right now I'm still experimenting, so don't expect any like pigeonholing yet. Although not like I would say that like any of the three of us pigeonhole ourselves with anything. Like I've seen some hyper niche channels. Like Lulu, you remember that one channel from way back in the day? He only could make Spider-Verse stuff because anytime he even tried to make other Marvel stuff, his videos like flopped.
I don't know. I don't remember this, but I probably
This was like back in the old days of the server. But anyway, this guy he got really successful. He had a few Spider-Verse videos blow up, but then like he tried to make like stuff on the Loki show and stuff, and like it didn't take off. And like Thor: Love and Thunder, Secret Invasion, like none of them did well. So, and since the next Spider-Verse movie's never coming out, his channel I think kind of died.
Rest in peace, that guy.
This is the thing. It's like it is kind of like you also just kind of have to keep persistence is a like.
Yeah, you have to keep trying.
I got lucky in that my best performing thing was like my first media stream,
right?
So that it always like tempers my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like cocky.
My best video derailed my algorithm for a while. It's still not fully healed.
You just got old people on now.
Yeah, I mean, my videos still get recommended to like half people like over the age of 65. It's
your
like,
favorite,
oh yeah,
dude.
This is his audience.
That is your target. That's your target audience.
I was gonna say, has it like several of your things been like about movies that like those people watched as children or something?
Well, I mean, I've made videos about movies from the 1890s. I don't think they're that old.
Exactly, exactly. People watched as children.
Yeah, back in when they were -30.
Exactly. What, you don't have memories from back then?
I'm afraid I don't. But
yeah.
I'm not a Buddhist. or Hindu, whatever one of those ones that believe in reincarnation. A bunch of Eastern
Several of them
religions
do.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's
say a
the
lot of
joke.
them.
They all kind of do it in one way or another. Just like, we don't need to go into that. Anyway,
Getting a little political, bro.
it's actually theology, like very
Great.
much.
Actually,
I just read Granola's message. Why would you write somebody's death name in the death note right in front of him?
yeah.
Gone
Com
for
4K.
Damn.
Oh well, look. I'm
Just
sorry, but
granolas.
Lulu is just kind of retarded like that.
Well, I don't think you can say that.
I
Yes, you
can't. It's
did.
the end of the stream.
Rip
Shit.
Bozo, Rip Bozo.
No, my money. My money.
You actually get demonetized for saying retarded? Is that like a
No,
real
no,
thing?
no, no. I think it's
No,
if you
no.
say like
I've heard that.
I think it's been a demonetizable thing for a little bit, but it's not normal.
I think it's
also, it
only
might be
if
like
you
in
like
the first 7 minutes or something. I think I heard that as well.
I think it's only if you
that's
call
usually.
if you call someone a slur with like racist intent and it's like in the first 5 minutes of the video. Otherwise,
Well,
I don't think they
how
care.
How can the bot determine intent? Like,
No,
it's
the
a
bot
that
will
goes
flag
through it.
the bot will flag the word, and then like a YouTube employee will watch the video.
Ah, I see, I
So,
see. I see, said the
I want to
blind man,
refund
and
on my
it's
super
hammer and
chat.
saw.
Well,
Sorry.
I'll make that joke about that after we're off stream.
About what?
Don't worry about it.
About what? About what?
No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Okay,
It just happens
Lulu.
to involve a word.
Just let it wash over you.
Oh, a specific
Oh my god, we're up
word
to 11 now.
that starts
We're up
with
to
an
11.
N. Yeah, we're literally ending stream.
Yeah.
Guys, leave. Leave.
One person
No,
did.
we're just kidding. We're kidding.
Yeah,
we're kidding.
run while you still can before you're stuck here. Well, I'm already trapped. Yeah, I was
You're
a
trapped-
viewer
you're trapped-
originally.
you're
He
trapped in
kidnapped me. He asked my family, run.
He trapped Rangi in his infinite Tsukiyomi. There is no escape.
Yeah. What for
You
some
even get that
reason
reference, Rangi?
when I click participants, it only shows me, Granola, and Amazing Astronaut. What the fuck?
I'm not
Amazing
participating in the
What a
chat.
guy.
You
I
guys
have it
aren't
open.
real.
Oh, here, that's another shout out. Follow Amazing Astronauts channel. He makes good comic book stuff.
Oh yeah.
You like comic book breakdowns. Check out Amazing Astronaut.
I haven't watched his stuff, but I have talked to the guy. He's a neat guy.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Should I self promote my channel even though this is on my channel?
Yeah. I mean, technically, people could stumble across your live stream just like randomly
I
recommend
guess
to them.
so. If there's anyone here not talking, like just watching in the chat, then hello, I'm Lulu. I make like horror adjacent videos, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah,
Violent underscore. Shout out to that person.
Yeah. Violent underscore. Promote my channel as yourself. Oh, okay. So guys, check out my channel, Violet underscore. I make what do you make again, Violet? Oh, I make Minecraft videos. I make Dead by Daylight videos. Yeah. That's me. I'm Violet underscore.
Are they excited about the Minecraft movie?
I don't think. Well, maybe as a joke, probably.
Oh, we should review the Minecraft movie and have Violet on.
I think it's gonna make $1 billion, and they're gonna make like 5 of them. We live in that timeline.
Unfortunately,
I
probably
think
right.
if we ever review it, I'm gonna be drunk for that.
I am Steve.
I would get hammered out of my mind if we reviewed the Minecraft movie, because like I respect Minecraft, but I don't even particularly enjoy the game. It's not really my cup of tea. Like I'll play for a bit with friends, but like it's never a game I would just boot up by myself. But I respect for what it stands for and the legacy.
It's probably one of the most influential games of all time.
How will the Minecraft movie affect LeBron James' legacy?
Yeah. Dude, I remember when it was cringe to like Minecraft. Now it's cool.
LeBron James.
So it's funny, Lulu, because I have the opposite perspective. I remember when it was cool, then I remember when it was cringe, and then I remember when it was cool again.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Things
I-
things
play
kind of
some
ebb and
blocks
flow with
and
that.
shit because
Same
I'm
with
in
Fortnite. Like
fucking
Fortnite was the
Minecraft.
coolest thing. Fortnite was the coolest game in the world, then became the cringiest game in the world, and now it's cool again. Like
Yeah,
it's
basically.
I mean, no, it's still cringe, but you
no,
know.
I mean it's only cringe among a very like tiny like subset. Like basically like people like 18 and younger and like 22 and up think it's cool. It's like the 19 to 21-year-old age range specifically thinks it's cringe, and like everyone outside of that thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait,
basically.
hold on. I can disapprove this now. I'm not in that age range, and I think it's
Yeah, but you're an outlier. We already established that.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
true.
You confirmed it yourself earlier in the stream.
I mean, I
Oh,
am
wait.
better than
Oh my God, you're
99.9% of people.
Guys, okay, so me and like 7 other people, we started a new gaming channel. It's called
Yeah, you were
Washing
telling me about
Machine
that.
Repair People. It's peak. I actually just posted the first video of it today, this morning. We played
Wait,
Oh,
no,
okay,
Peggle
yes,
2.
I saw your post of the video. I
Yeah,
didn't know the
yeah.
context. I was confused.
So is this going to be
Yeah.
separate from your old gaming channel, or is it going to be a part
Yeah,
of that?
it's no. Well, I don't know. Fuck my old gaming
Yes,
channel.
no, maybe so.
It's mostly their footage that I'm just like I'm in and I'm like editing it. It's like a group effort. It's a group effort.
Oh wow, you
it's
didn't
like
even invite me.
my bad. It's a fun way to like make gaming videos without making gaming videos because I don't have the capability of that. So if I just get everyone to record like our group like gaming sessions and then I could just like edit it and whatever. It's we don't really take it seriously though. It's mostly just like for funsies. So like the thumbnails are kind of dog shit on purpose and like I don't know. I don't really edit them like that crazy. I do like pretty simplistic editing. So it's just for fun. So yeah.
You ever play Fortnite? You better invite me.
I fucking hate Fortnite. I'm gonna kill you. You're going bye bye now.
You gotta write my
we're
name
writing his
again.
name again for the 3rd time. Oh, I just moved the
it's like
entire background. Uh-oh.
it's like Beetlejuice. You gotta say my name 3 times.
Yeah. Anyways, say goodbye to Iron, everyone. He's going bye bye now.
And you gotta add Mandrill, and he'll kill me
Oh,
a
I don't
second
have
time.
I don't have your legal last name written in the Death Note stuff.
Yeah, it's Iron and then
I
Mandrill.
think
Okay,
this would
okay.
be a
First and
really
last
good
name.
time to dox Iron.
I don't
His
remember
real
what
name is
website I
John
use.
Smith.
Death Note.
My real name is
fonts?
John Name.
John.
Yeah,
John
Smith.
Mandrill. John Mandrill.
John Mandrill.
Yes, John.
Who's the guy from the Crucible? It's John Proctor. It's my name. Any of you guys watch the Crucible or read it?
I'm not sure.
I read it.
There's 9
I
of
read
us.
it in high school.
Oh yeah, my bad. Not 7, 9. There's 9 of us, and we're all super cool. Yeah, we're so
9.
awesome softs. Yeah.
9.
Dude, the last half hour of this stream has just been so derailed.
peak stream.
Yeah,
Everyone.
the
peak.
Witcher cock really threw a monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah, Witcher.
A
cock.
monkey wrench, you say? Who do we blame for this?
IRS.
The IRS.
You know, I
the
accept
DMV.
that. I accept that.
Like that's not how the fucking book works.
The ATF, and then like the world goes to utopia.
The meme is so bad, but I love it. I wrote
it. Honestly, if the world didn't have those 3 organizations, it would be a much better place. I 100% second that message.
All right, I wrote your last name on the note. You're dead now. Goodbye, Iron. Oh, he disappeared. He evaporated. All right.
Yeah, we killed him. We
killed him. We did it.
We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Is that monkeys hammer his penis? Yes, it is. How'd you know? Anyways, thank you everyone for watching. Subscribe or we're gonna put your name in the death note. Yeah. That's it. Goodbye.
We already have. What do you mean?